Oh,
Why I gotta touch my meat?
oh, that's your meat.
I gave you
oh,
the bag.
fuck! I'm dumb. I'm so sorry. I thought that's what it was. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to play with your meat.
Why I gotta touch my meat?
Or did I? All right.
Okay.
Hello, welcome. This is the Three Dead Babies podcast. I'm your host, Vampire Jesus.
And I'm co-host.
So you wanted today to start talking about justice system, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, and more specifically, the miscarriages of, and more specifically, the Canadian justice system.
Okay.
Because I know when we talked last time, my numbers were showing 3 to 5% for wrongful conviction rates, and you were seeing numbers as high as 18% wrongful conviction rates.
Well, actually, I double checked it. Okay. So I actually wrote down. So it's 18% of closed cases due to a false 18% of closed cases due to a false confession, and a third of the cases are imagined crimes that never happened.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And how does that happen?
So, police, and here's the thing, right? It's really easy to just go and harp on cops, right? You're right, this is fucking good jerky. Anyway, it's really good to go harp on cops and blame them for fucking everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is, so when they do their jobs, they'll put pressure on someone that they think is guilty.
Yeah.
Right? Or even if they don't think they're guilty per se, they'll put pressure on them to try and get information out of them just to see if the person knows something, right? So a lot of times what happens is a lot of people aren't used to having that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And it's not just the pressure. It's like they'll be in an interrogation room for like 12 hours, 13 hours, 18 hours, and they'll be tired, they'll be hungry, they'll be like completely discombobulated, right?
Yeah.
So eventually the person just confesses to a crime they didn't commit to make it stop.
Yeah.
So
It's low-key torture.
it's low-key torture, yeah. And it's one of the main reasons why people confess to crimes they didn't commit. And that's why the percentage is so high, right?
Yeah.
So not only do you have people that are confessing to crimes that they didn't commit because they feel pressured to, but there's also the aspect of like you can convince someone that they committed a crime that they didn't do. And then there's also admission through like just saying you're sorry, right?
Yeah.
For now, that's actually gone now out of our justice system.
Yeah.
But before in the past, that was an admission of guilt. Saying you're sorry for doing something to a cop is an admission of guilt. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Before it was. And that caused, again, a lot of false convictions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the thing is, and the other thing of the 1/3 of resolved crimes are crimes that didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
That one is also like mind blowing. It's like, I'm trying to think of like a basic example. It's like, you can accuse someone of stealing something. That person didn't steal anything.
Yeah.
And the police still come and arrest the person. Mm-hmm. Like that's one of those type of an imagined crime. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Right. And even with all those false convictions, that kind of stuff, people don't even report half the crimes that are committed in the country to police.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, the majority of crime is completely unreported to police.
Yeah.
And it's not just minor stuff like a traffic violation or whatever. We're talking assault, sex assault, break and entering, all these type of things, right?
Yeah.
Attempted murder sometimes. None of these things, well, they get reported, but it's less than half of them get reported.
Yeah.
And again, that's mind-blowing. And the police try to figure out why people don't report these. And most of the time, it comes to people either don't trust the police.
Yeah.
They think the police can't do anything about it, which in a lot of cases, it's true. The cops can't do anything about certain crimes. It's the criteria police need to have in order to actually go and try to solve a crime or stop a crime or whatever is, I don't want to say it's ridiculous because the police need to have a check, but sometimes it's on the fence of becoming ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they could have a shit ton of circumstantial evidence, but because they're a first responder or whatever, they can't actually go and do anything. It has to be like, has to go through an investigation or whatever, what have you, right? And yeah, so people don't trust the police, or they think the police can't do anything, or people think it's not important.
Yeah.
That's the thing with a lot of breaking and enterings and stealing. People don't report it because they think it's not important. That's the main reason why people don't report things like that.
That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, did they give you any percentages on how much of it was vigilante justice?
Vigilante justice?
Yeah,
No.
Just like,
no.
I don't call the cops here.
No,
we
they don't.
take care of things ourselves.
Actually, yes, there is a number to it, and I'm going off memory, so I can't be quoted, but it's something like 30%.
Of it is
vigilante justice, yeah. Which by itself is illegal. I'm just putting that out there. That's illegal.
No,
but,
playing superheroes.
No, but like, you know, if you do, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet that 30% is probably mostly made up of rural communities.
Well, here's the thing. Rural communities are the ones that have the highest crime rates.
Really?
When it comes to violent crime, so like sex assault, assault with a deadly weapon, murder, it's all inner city.
Yeah.
Everything else is small towns and what have you.
Yeah.
And when it comes to per capita, drug offenses, it's like the territories, like Yukon, Northwest Territories, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because there's nothing to fucking do.
There's nothing to do, right? You know?
Yeah.
So, but anyone who's ever been to a small town knows
yeah,
that drugs are like rampant out there.
Oh yeah, even some like crazy small towns. It's nuts. It's big business, even in those little spots.
Absolutely.
But so there's like a couple things, like changing the culture and the programs that we have to support people that want to report crimes. I think would be super helpful.
Absolutely.
And like, instead of waiting for like 30 years down the road, because there's some accountability. Like I always go back to accountability, and and it's not just for the citizens or for the police, because like the cops do get they get a shitty shake. It's a brutal fucking job. There's lots of good, awesome cops that do a great job. I've had the pleasure of meeting maybe one.
Yeah.
But he was a super nice guy and changed my life. And he didn't have any reason to be. He was genuinely there to like uphold the law, but like he was a low key superhero. I wish I remembered his name. I was in no state to remember fuck all when I talked to him. But I mean, it sucks for them, and like they really should have like a better PR team and really start. I remember being a little kid growing up and like seeing cops on patrol and having them come to the schools, and like they were happy and they would talk, and you know, it was like looking up to a superhero.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit older and you start to hear about, you don't get all of the good stories and all of the fun.
That's the thing. You're absolutely right. The media, and more specifically, online media, people online, the individual, will always report a negative interaction with police. Sometimes they'll make it up.
Yeah.
Just for like clout, right?
Absolutely.
And you never hear about Joe Schmo who deals with a cop, and the cop like just helps him. Yeah. Just for no reason other than he's a police officer. That's his job. He helps you.
Absolutely. Well, and then there's even cases you'll see, and it goes back to that kind of the internet beast of cops actually helping people. And then you get a couple trolls chirping at them, spending our tax dollars, buying somebody a baby seat, spending our tax dollars, bringing groceries to people's houses.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. It makes it impossible for them to be human.
Yeah.
And the things that they would see would be, they're the most horrendous things. And you're dealing with the worst situations day after day after day. So I do feel for cops in a certain sense, but I think we can definitely have some better systems of accountability in there, because there are lots of things that could be better orchestrated and fixed, and including harsher penalties for like the miscarriages of justice.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's insane. And I mean, they're catching police officers destroying evidence.
Yeah.
Just so they can make an arrest.
Yeah.
And like those people should be like figuratively crucified publicly, because these people, and it's not like these people are going in and they're spending a week or 24 hours. Like, these people are doing 8, 10, 12, 15 years of jail
Doing
time.
that. Yeah.
And they're wrongfully convicted.
Yeah.
And that's insane. And their lives are gone. And
Yeah,
not to
their
mention,
lives
like,
are completely
the
destroyed.
payouts are almost always garbage. And I mean, again, if you started setting laws and rules that, like, if someone is wrongfully convicted, you are going to be held accountable and responsible for that fuck up.
Yeah. So that's a huge point you made there, right? So I think that the crime you are trying to pin on someone, if they find out that you are, again, like, planting evidence or whatever, the maximum sentence that person can receive should be your default sentence.
Absolutely. Times however many times you did that. There was a horrible cop, I think it was in the States, who got caught for planting evidence. And it was like something like 100 cases.
Yeah.
And, like, destroys people's lives. And not just, like, the individual. Like, no longer can they get a job, which is insane to me because, like, the first thing I'd be doing is lawyering up and suing the shit out of them so I never had to work again in my life.
Yeah.
But, like, these people are just trying to get back on track, get back to the lives they live. They can't get any employment. Their family system is completely disintegrated. Truth works a funny way because sometimes even if you're acquitted and, like, they drop all charges and you go out, you get to make a public statement, you get a nice letter from the mayor or whatever, there's going to be members of the community that are like, nah.
You still did it.
He did it.
Yeah.
And, like, that, those relationships are
You
not...
want to talk about something like that happened? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt
No,
you,
go
but I think this one's a really good one. Something like that happened here where we live. I'm not going to name exactly who it is, but I'm going to tell the story and people will probably know what story I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There was a guy in his, like, I think he must have been 18-ish. And he was accused, he was on a sports team, a somewhat major sports team that's not professional. And he was accused of raping someone. And he went to trial, he was found guilty, and he went to jail. Now, eventually, it came out that she had completely made up the story. She admitted to completely making up the story after the evidence was found that she made up the story. Now, he was acquitted of everything. But because of her, for whatever reason she made that up, because of that, he committed suicide because his life was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, he had no social group. He was an outcast from society. And his future, because he was in university, he was kicked out of his program and wasn't allowed to join back, even if he was found not guilty of any of this stuff.
And that's just because of the stigma that comes with being involved in those situations.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, there's zero accountability.
That girl who made that up, nothing happened to her.
And she took a life.
She took because her actions led to him dying. Get to him committing suicide. And here's the thing. People will commit suicide from bullying online or whatever, and sometimes they'll catch the bully, and that bully will be prosecuted.
Yep.
But in a situation like this, they just, it's just fine. Leave it alone.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's disheartening. And that, you know, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. Shit happens. But I mean, like, to me, if that was exactly how that case was laid out, like, she should be seeing some consequence. And the fact that there's zero is insane.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the whole innocent until proven guilty thing, like...
Oh, that's out the fucking window.
That doesn't exist
That doesn't exist anymore at all, no.
And, like, it's gross. And, like, it's lazy people, mean, vindictive people, a lazy system. Another thing I was looking up was judges. Same thing. You are the top of the top. Right?
They shouldn't be allowed to be biased, but they're always biased.
It is impossible to have a human being sit in that black robe on that tiny chair with a little hammer and him not, or her, not be biased. They will always have a bias. And it is, if the fact that anybody goes to jail right now blows my mind. Because if you think about it, and again, it's proven science that we are running on subconscious programming throughout the majority of our life and our day-to-day tasks, he's immediately incapable of passing judgment.
Yeah.
Because he will have a program in his head that states this has to happen. There's going to be cases where there's video evidence and you're caught red-handed.
But see, in cases like that, it shouldn't be a question, right?
But cases where you're relying solely on circumstantial evidence?
Dude, eyewitness testimony is the worst fucking thing. I don't understand why it's still even allowed in court because it's been proven time and time again that it's 100% unreliable.
Well, and the other thing, when I was watching those cases of like the miscarriages of the justice system,
Yeah.
there's this super huge common thread. And one of the theories in crime is that it's always somebody, it's always somebody that's related to the victim. Mm-hmm. Almost all of those stories that I watched was the husband or boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they were wrong every fucking time. But again, that's your subconscious programming. It's going to go on this guy.
Yeah.
It's going to go on this guy. And then there's other factors like
And
political groups. If
absolutely.
there's certain, again, like citizens aren't the only one that receive pressure, right? Like that pressure comes from the top down.
Yeah.
I want crime rates to go down. I want conviction rates to go.
That's another thing we can talk about right now is another reason police are so harsh and do some of the things they do is they get told you need to have this many speeding tickets, this many arrests, this many that.
There's a quota.
There's a quota, and if they don't meet it, they can lose their job. So that means they have to find crime if there is none being committed. That's true. That's what that means.
But it's not funny that's what it means. It's that there's so many things that they could be putting their efforts to making the place a better place to live, or working more intently and positively with the community.
Yeah.
Get rid of those fucking quotas. Like there's so much funding and money and stuff that can be accessible and available to them to make sure that they have the proper gear, they're getting the proper medical treatment or psychological treatment, because that job is gross.
That's another thing. Police should have, I don't know, I'm just talking out my ass. I don't know if they have mandatory psychological evaluations.
I believe they do.
Well, they need to have more of them. Because there are people that join the police force strictly because they're narcissistic sociopaths who just want government given power.
Well,
right?
and that's something, maybe not for this conversation because it'll go into left field, but that's positions of power attract those types of people. And that's why we need to be able to make sure that the programs are available and that we're incentivizing them correctly, so it's attracting the right type of people to understand that this is worth it, this makes a difference, this is good. And it's hard when all you hear is the police are dog shit.
Yeah.
You're only going to keep getting that certain group of narcissistic bully psychopaths.
Yeah.
But I've seen people go into the force, and when they start, they're like young and happy and like, I want to make a difference. And then you give it 10 years and like
They're miserable. Well, you got
they're yeah, but it's
they
not
deal
even
with the worst
same
of society.
person. Yeah,
day in day out, they deal with the worst of society, and then they get home, and even their own families hate them because they're a cop.
yeah. Well, and all the stuff that even if you're not bringing, it's hard to separate your work life from your family life.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's even harder when you have the circumstance that they're dealing with, and they're bringing it home. And families, that's another thing. Like those programs, I know the military has something like that for like the families of military people, but again, like start building those programs up so that you can start teaching the family, like, here's the beginning signs of PTSD. Here's how to help navigate or help build up your partner. Like that's a great program to have just in general. But for those specific industries, EMTs, same thing. You change as a person when you're dealing with that stuff.
Nonstop, yeah. And that's another thing that no one really talks about is the police forces, like higher up, will fearmonger the new recruits, right? When police come in and, the lower level police, they will constantly fearmonger them and be like, you need to be ready to fucking blast like 8 school children because they'll come at you with fucking AKs.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not making up what I'm saying. You can go and look at police training videos where people has snuck in cameras, and that's what the trainers say.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating obviously with the fucking kids, but like,
well,
basically that's what they're saying.
In certain areas, they do, because that's an actual prevalent problem.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate way of trying to navigate it, but it goes back to like not taking the time to iron things out. We come up with like, this will work based on our theories and our experience, but you're taking a very small group of already kind of unhinged individuals.
Yeah.
And then you're just pushing all that information on somebody who's like not ready to handle it, and then you become apprehensive. Oh, that's a kid. He's going to grab something. I'm going to, it's scary, and it makes them scared. Like most of those people are family men. They have kids, wives that they want to go home to. They have their own value and respect for their life. And people can be difficult to deal with.
And you made another very good point there. That I was like, the point you made was the work of policing is not necessarily, not everyone is biologically like made to do that kind of stress or handle that kind of stress, right? We have way more people that are in the role of policing than naturally come to be in human genetics, right?
Yeah.
Because, well, we just need the police force, right? And that's another major problem that people sort of ignore, is that not everyone can mentally handle that amount of stress, being around that many violent people, or the threat of that violence being on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Some people are better at dealing with that, other people not as much. And the people that aren't as much will either break down or will become bad cops.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And I think even the way they set up the system to like apply, and this is more for the Canadian system. I don't know what it's like in America, like the U.S. But like it is super intensely strict on certain things like drug, alcohol use, all those things. But I mean, which is good. You know, you don't want a bunch of methy cops. But if you're a kid and you smoke a bunch of weed, or like you got caught being drunk and disorderly, like there's certain things like that was probably a life lesson for a lot of people that wanted to become police, because they got to deal with a cop that's like, man, you're a kid, you got lots to live for. There's lots of beautiful things out in the world. Don't be, getting shit faced and flying around in your car. But if you start putting up all of those barricades, you're cutting out the potential for having a lot of people that have had really good interactions with cops or been inspired by cops, and they've been able to turn their life around, or they want to follow a life in law enforcement, and you're just like, no. Yeah. Like, that's brutal. And there's so many other things that you should be looking at anyway.
Yeah, seriously. And actually, I have a good story about a cop I had. The most recent interaction I had with a cop.
A cop you had?
A cop I had. Oh, boy. Hello, Officer Johnson. So, most recent interaction I had with a cop, I was going like 120, or I think it was exactly 122.
Yeah.
In an 80.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going, and the cop is actually on the side of the road ahead of me, and I see him, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, he caught me, right?
Yeah.
So, flashes on his lights. I just pull over right away. And he comes up, and he's like, oh, how come you're going that fast? And I was like, no reason. I was just going.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, can I have your license? I'm like, sure. I handed it to him. He goes away, comes back, hands me the lowest possible ticket he can give me. He was saying I was going 10 over the speed limit. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, like $80 or $40 or whatever it was. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's just like, I just don't want you to speed, man. Like, yeah. I'm not. Like, he was incredibly chill about it. Yeah. Because the whole point of him stopping me wasn't to get a big ticket, wasn't to be like, oh, this guy's speeding, he must be like a bad apple or something. A bad apple. Yeah, I don't know. But he was just like, no, listen, this is my road. Like, this whole area is my road. Yeah. And it's windy and hilly, and every week I have to pull someone out of a car crash or a ditch. Yeah. I'm just don't speed here.
Yeah. You know what they should do? And they should create these little booklets for all these like traffic accidents of real people, like being like when your face is getting dragged across the cement for 100 meters. Yeah. And then when they take all your information, they go and sit in their car for 20 minutes. Yeah. Be like, have a look through this and I'll come right back. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, if we had to start looking at some of those pictures, a lot of us are going to start slowing way the fuck down.
Well, let's be honest here. The people who are speeding. Yeah. Like, it's not your soccer mom or whatever, right? The soccer mom's not going to be speeding.
I don't know, man. Like, I think that's a problem that we all, maybe not to like the extreme degree where, he's probably tanned and has tattoos and he's on a bike and he's going like 100 kilometers over the speed limit. Yeah. But I think we're all, we all kind of push that 10, 20, maybe 25.
You can go, as I was told, you can go up to 10% above the speed limit and the cops won't pull you over, right? So I'm just like,
But that's like a horrible statistic for us to be pushing around. Like, we can go a little bit faster. You can go a little bit faster without getting in trouble.
Well,
And we're all guilty of it.
Everyone
I know.
does it,
We all
yeah.
go 10 over. I'm allowed to go. Aren't you supposed to give me 10? Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like, you're going 10 over when it's 100, and then you come off, and you're just in a rush.
just keep going that speed,
you just keep going that speed. You're comfortable. You're floating around. You're listening to the radio. Sometimes
Next thing
it's
you know,
nice.
you're going 120 through a school zone.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's suddenly a lot of speed bumps.
Should only be one.
Whoa.
Backpacks everywhere. But I mean, like, having that little book would be a good reminder for people, a lot of people, to like wake up and be like, this is like, it's insane. That's a huge amount of responsibility for people. You drive in a metal torpedo and you fly down the road. Like, you know,
there's a lot of people that shouldn't be able to drive.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. There's a lot of people that drive with no licenses. I'm just saying. I have a license.
I've been there too.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's a long story.
I believe you.
Yeah.
My friend Josh, he had his license taken away like 8 times.
That's
Like purposely.
That's excessive.
He purposely flipped the car once. He installed a roll cage on like a Cavalier, and was like went to the highway at night where it's like dead, and he's just like, "Yo, I'm gonna flip the car," and he just like went like 150. Hard turn, flipped the car, like did 3 spins, and then like landed on the roof. Lost his license for that because he's just like,
Well,
I flipped the car on purpose.
But how did the Cavalier do?
It was fine.
It's a sturdy car.
Oh, Cavaliers are great.
You can do whatever you want to.
You can do whatever you want to. That's
All right. Oh, I think that's a good spot. That's our talk about the justice system, miscarriage. Well, and the other thing I'd like to circle back to, is that it's something that, like, they have a miscarriage of justice day or wrongful conviction day, and like, we never talk about it. We never hear about it. We don't. There's no incentive to like make that information public, and just how high those rates can be.
Well,
that's thousands of people a year.
People already have very little trust in the government and in the police force. The last thing you want to do is give them even less trust.
But so for that point, I think one of the biggest ways
it would make people trust them more.
It would be to say, we're fucked up. We made some big mistakes in the past. Like, we're not going to defund the justice system because they tried that in the States. It was a horrible mess. It's stupid to do. We need some kind of legal system, but we will be restructuring it. We will be engaging with local communities. We will be rewriting the laws so that people are being held accountable. And again, like, I never got to go on my tangent about judges. If you like, look those people up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and again, like,
I will fucking go into this conspiracy realm of fucking judges. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you want to do your rant. Just let me do this one.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay, so in the U.S., the way it's split up, depending where you commit a crime, you get a certain. No, it's not where you commit a crime. It's where you're accused from. Whoever is accusing you, where they reside, is where they can. Is where you'll go to court, right?
Yeah.
And this has been used to get people who are in the political sphere of some form, a judge that is prejudiced against them.
Yeah. Like, you're going north and south, east and west. Like,
Yeah.
Because the cultures there
Very different.
can be very different.
And when that in itself is like a massive miscarriage of justice.
Absolutely.
Because then at this point, it doesn't matter if the person committed the crime or not. It's literally just, can I somehow convince the judge not to imprison me, you know?
Yeah. Or how can I convince a judge to imprison that person?
Yeah.
Which is the
Because
scary part.
that's the job of the fucking attorney. It's not nobody involved in the fucking process or whatever. What's it called when you go to court?
Yeah, process.
Or
are you talking about prosecution?
Basically, anyone involved in the process of the justice system.
Take
when
your
you're
time.
going-
It's not like anyone's watching.
I know.
Carry on.
Basically, anyone involved in the whole system of going to court
Yeah.
is their goals are either how can I get this person convicted, or how can I prove that this person didn't commit the crime? Not did this person commit a crime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a huge difference in those questions. And
There's
it's
a
not
huge
just,
difference.
It's not just the judges. When you go to like a jury of your peers, it's the same thing. And that would be even harder to navigate because there's, what was it, 10, 12 people that you have to try and navigate their bias and like the environments they grew up in.
Yeah.
And people fucking lie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially if it's a high profile case. You're being part of a murder. I'm going to be part of a murder.
Yeah.
You know, did you have any involvement with A, B, and C? No.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, you did. Like, and again, that's going to affect what you're trying to push or what you want to see. Or if you've already drawn the conclusion of like, and we're very bad at just like, he looks like he killed someone, or she looks like, you know, and then just being like, nah, I don't care. Like, and they just dismiss all the information. It's just lip service at that point because you've already made up your decision. And again, a lot of that stuff about how we make decisions is backed up by science. And once you've made that decision, it's very hard to unmake that decision. It doesn't matter if the judge is like, don't pretend like you didn't hear that. You know, like, are you kidding me? Get a new fucking jury.
Yeah.
No, these ones are garbage now.
Yeah.
That guy was an asshole. He played a dangerous game. He got caught. He fucked up. Like, and I'm talking about the lawyers, not the person that's sitting in the hot seat.
Yeah.
So now we have to restart.
Yeah.
Because you can't just expect people to be like, you didn't hear any of that. You know, like, it's ugh, yuck.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. What should we talk about next?
See that video I sent you?
Yes, I did. That's insane. I love aliens. I think aliens, I think that's the coolest thing. I know there's like, maybe people should be more fearful of that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the thought that there's like other species doing other stuff, creating spaceships. I think that's amazing.
So I'll take it from the top with the alien shit, okay?
Okay.
So you know how people, so there's still people to this day that don't believe. I'm not saying on Earth. I'm saying in the entire universe.
Yeah, we'll start with that as the
Yeah.
baseline.
There's still people that are like, no, there is not a single life form on any other planet.
Yeah.
That to me is mind blowing that they can't, like they can't, they think there's nothing else, right?
Do you think those people were more or less likely to wear masks during COVID?
More likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Because look,
Sorry for
no,
derailing.
it's okay. It's okay. I had to really think about it.
Yeah, because there's like some
a-
interesting dynamics playing in my
Yeah.
brain right now
Yeah.
about like who would land in that space and what their lives look like.
I know a few of them.
Carry on.
But so it's like logically speaking, there absolutely 100% has to be extraterrestrial life, right?
Yeah, intelligent extraterrestrial. We're
extraterrestrial.
not going to play that game of like it's an amoeba, you know, thousands of galaxies away.
Yeah.
like
No,
there's,
no, but we're saying
definitely something with
intelligent life equal or more than us, right?
yeah, definitely more than us.
Well, definitely, yeah. We are actually in a very young section of the universe, so
Yeah, go figure.
yeah. So like, right? So the universe is like the universe goes on forever.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's constantly expanding.
And it's constantly expanding. That means every possible outcome happens. So logically speaking, there has to be extraterrestrial life. Anyway, aliens are real. If you don't believe that, you're stupid. So
Did you say you're us stupid?
yes, you are a stupid.
Well, hopefully they'll get it. Anyway, yeah, aliens are real. Go back to the video.
The video. Okay, so
Yeah.
the video is actually from 2020. I forget exactly the name of the pilot.
I know his first name's George because it's the coolest, like J-O.
George,
yeah.
coolest way to write George. It's
Yeah.
like George Ake, not Ake, but like
Yeah,
Arquez,
we
something
just
like that.
Call him George.
We'll
It's
just
the
call him
coolest way of
George.
George.
I'll probably link the video,
Maybe.
maybe if I'm
yeah.
feeling up to it. But videos from 2020. He's small. He's flying a small plane propeller, and I think he's over the ocean or something like that. Or you don't see the ground. And in any
Your
case,
voice went really high there.
yeah, I know.
Side note, very impressive.
Thank you. And then he's recording because he sees it from a distance. The
Yeah.
thing. And it's this silverish color saucer, I guess, that
Yeah.
has like 4 points that stick out of it. Again, everything is very soft rounded.
Yeah, to me it looked like a turtle shell.
Yes, it looks like a turtle shell. That's probably one of the best descriptions for it.
Yeah.
A silver turtle shell
Yeah.
and no seams whatsoever. and if it's like horizontal, it is actually like lifted upwards like this, and it's like moving in a straight line that way, right? So that's and it's like a really good high definition.
It's
like,
not this crappy
it's
pixelated
no,
horrible video, but and it's moving so quickly.
It's moving unbelievably fast.
It's still hard to see.
Yeah. Even when you chop down the video, you can see it each frame, but it's moving unbelievably fast.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild. But so this, so the way it's flying, I don't know if anyone knows, but Bob Lazar, I'm sure.
If you don't know who Bob Lazar is, check him out. Watch some of the stuff he's gone on about. It'll definitely split the crowd. He's a very polarizing person with his opinions, but it is awesome to just think about and listen to.
Bob Lazar, that's his opinion. Bob Lazar is telling 100% the truth about absolutely everything.
I agree with that, but I know not everyone will.
It's overwhelming the amount of evidence that have been brought forward to show that he's telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he used to work at Area 51, or he didn't. Was it Area 51 or was it the hangar S1 or something like
black
that?
Site.
He worked at a black site near Area 51. He was brought on by the U.S. military to reverse engineer alien craft, right? And
why don't we just make X-Tech a thing? Because that just sounds super cool.
X-Tech?
Yeah, like extraterrestrial
All
technology.
right, let's call it X-Tech.
X-Tech.
Yeah. So he was
patent pending. Trademark. That's my name.
So he was brought in to reverse engineer X-Tech.
Yeah.
And he said that the things that he's seen in there, which apparently everything was compartmentalized, so he didn't really get to interact with a lot of stuff. But he said that they had 10 to 12 saucers, including the Roswell one, and some that seem to have been thousands of years old that were found at geological sites, and some in the Arctic and whatnot. Anyway, so they were reverse engineering extraterrestrial craft. And the way he described the way they fly and how they manage this flight is exactly the way it's shown in that video that pilot took. And it's mind-blowing because he says that the way it flies is it uses these arms that with some sort of tech, which I think he talks about element 115. They use apparently this element to create gravitational pull. These arms point in a direction. It creates a gravitational pull, and the saucer basically just flies in that direction.
That's cool.
So it's not defying gravity, which is what it sounds like. It's not actually defining gravity. It's just moving gravity in a different direction.
Yeah.
So that it will just basically fall, and it can adjust the gravitational pull to fall faster or slower.
Yeah.
That's how it flies.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's not a perfect system if fucking a dozen of them have slammed into Earth.
Well, that's the thing is we don't know why they slammed into Earth, right?
Yeah. Well, I think if you just take how we kind of develop, learn, see things, different, patterns and waves you go through growing up, especially if we don't know what their lives would be like, right? So maybe they're when you're a teenager, your body starts doing crazy shit and your hormones are all over the place. Yeah. And sometimes you'll take bigger risks because your body is telling you that death isn't a thing.
Yeah.
So, thinking if something lived to be 200 years old, maybe that stage happens to you and is more prominent in a different stage of your life.
Yeah.
So this 100-year-old alien is still a teenager in its time, and it is just joyriding the shit out of space.
Yeah.
And if your little gravity button is going all over the place, or you had too many, blue milks, and you just slam right into a planet.
And here's the thing: people think of I do agree with everything you're saying, but another point is people seem to think that just because it's X-Tech, it's invincible.
Yeah,
it's listen, a 50 caliber bullet is a 50 caliber bullet. Doesn't matter if it's shiny metal or regular metal, right?
Yeah.
So if they bring this thing and they just hover it over a point of interest for them, where say they're reading nuclear energy or whatever, that would be over a military base of some kind. you think the military base is not armed and ready with like serious firepower?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if that thing comes and flies over. It stays there for 2 seconds. It's getting shot the fuck down, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it's because of all the stuff we've watched and learned through pop culture, movies, video
Yeah.
games. They definitely have like a field generating shield.
yeah.
There's a big blue shield that comes up every time we shoot stuff at them.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
it makes this cool boom noise.
yeah. It's like, meanwhile, this dude's got a flak gun firing like 70
That
millimeter
poor little
round-
gray bastard is just watching bullets slide through. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Definitely don't pay me enough for this. I'm gonna crash land on this hillbilly planet with all these backwater fucking hairless monkeys. They keep making fun of us probing. They don't know what goes on here.
It's like, I was just here on vacation. What the fuck?
Oh, those poor aliens. Yeah.
But like, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's-
Well, at least,
and here's another thing. If this species evolved on a planet that element 115 for whatever reason
Yeah.
is plentiful and everywhere, and that's the element you happen to need to make anti-gravity,
yeah.
this might be their first way of travel that they come up with, right?
Yeah.
So like, just because it seems like more advanced tech doesn't necessarily mean they had the same branch to get there, right?
Or how useful, like how experienced they are with that tech.
Yeah.
And like that's again assuming that it's just like one race of aliens that keeps smashing into the planet. You know, but yeah, just like
Who the fuck put this planet here?
just shoot it at the blueberry. Nobody fucking knows anything there anyway. Just launch it there.
There's just those crazy monkeys
Yeah.
over there. They just all do all sorts of weird shit.
Well, you know what? But it goes back to like that theory that if like you went far enough away and like they looked through a telescope and imagine that they had this super powerful
That's
telescope.
true.
And they were looking at us, they'd be like, "Oh, there's
It's
nothing
just-
there.
Yeah, it's nothing
Fire
there, or
away."
it's dinosaurs or whatever.
And then
they
they-
show up there, and then it's a bunch of psychotic, raging, roided out monkeys
Yeah.
with like reactive armor and
Yeah.
shit, with swords and guns, and are just like, "Yo, look at that shiny thing!
No, kill it.
Hey, Tim, bet I can hit it!"
Yeah, like they want. Yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be part of that too. Like if you think like, when we get rockets, we test them.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
Shit goes sideways, and that's on a much smaller scale. Usually, we can't get out of the atmosphere. There's shit everywhere. But if you got to the point where you're trying to go farther and faster and farther and faster,
Yeah.
they could just be shooting that stuff out, and it just
Smashing
we
it.
just
and-
happen to be in the
Yeah.
trajectory.
And
or
here's the
line of
thing:
sight.
who knows how many of these civilizations there are? We could have tons of these civilizations, just even like around the corner on the celestial level, right?
Yeah.
And there could be like every other planet could have a civilization that's ish on par with them,
Yeah.
right? So it's not weird for them to just be smashing into fucking.
Well, and to think too, like if that was the case, where on this like this universal scale, if you had something of, we'll say, superior intelligence to where we are
Yeah.
technologically and probably every other way, and they found other species, especially if they're the opposite of us, where they want to share technology and they're looking to
Yeah.
have this diverse biome of universe species.
Yeah.
Now all of these different races cannot be sharing technology.
Yeah.
And again, like we're drip fed stuff as soon as we're born, that it's just like some superior elitist group of generally humans that want to conquer the whole galaxy.
Yeah.
Or they're a scary arachnid race that
Yeah.
again is going to conquer the whole galaxy.
like, I got a raid.
Yeah, everything is just conquer.
Yeah.
We never talk about
But
the
that's
fact.
that's because we put what we think and how we see
Absolutely.
other things on them, right?
Yeah.
Because we're humans, we are unbelievably fucking violent.
Yeah, and
we're-
insecure.
And
Just
insecure, and we want to fucking kill everything,
Yeah.
right? So we're just like assuming alien race, they're gonna want to kill us, but we're
Yeah.
gonna kill them first.
Absolutely. Well,
Right?
I mean, even if they came and were like, "Hey guys, like we want to help you out," it's just pop, pop, pop. Like, never mind. See you later. Enjoy your monkey fucking. Like, we're out of here. We're just gonna test.
Yeah. You guys better run because they're gonna try and fuck you.
Yeah, don't come here. There's a giant sign just outside the moon.
Yeah.
It's like no bueno.
That's
Don't-
what on the dark side of the moon is, right?
Yeah, don't go here.
This
It's like an alien skull and crossbones. Yeah. Not safe.
Not safe.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
and that's like, okay, I've imagine your local fucking highway, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many car accidents are there on your local highway?
At any given time?
At any given time.
A pile, but
a pile. Like, you'll have at least 1 or 2 accidents a day.
Yeah.
Right? So what if, there's a local fucking highway that goes through our goddamn solar system?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every now and then, someone's going to fucking jump the curb and hit the planet. Right?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's beautiful. Jump the curb and hit the planet, especially if he's been drinking.
Yeah. Who knows? They're fucking drinking Venus juice or something.
Yeah. I want to know what is on either side, because why are we the throughway for that?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be obviously super good if you're blowing past that, like, mine sign on the dark side of the moon. And what the hell Venus juice is like.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. So, anyway, what was I going to go with that?
I don't know. But my hang up for aliens, or where, like, I get miffed, and it's not so much with aliens, it's with, like, people. Okay. Like, when the state's administration, I think it was, like, last year, 2 years ago, and they start releasing documents saying, like, okay...
Oh, yeah. During the pandemic, they, like, admitted that there's alien life.
There's stuff that
they're in contact with aliens.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of it was, I'm sure some of it is still not...
It's not
publicized.
It's not publicized, but it's released files that they're in contact with aliens.
Yeah, and that
that's why there's the fucking Space Force.
Yeah, it's crazy, and there's also an embassy in the States.
There's an embassy in the States, and okay, again, I'm gonna go on another little conspiracy thing. But
we'll just, like, for the folks at home or on their cell phone, there's actually an embassy, an Earth embassy in the States, and their job is to cultivate and nurture human-alien relationships. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Because we're in contact with aliens. Yeah. Like, like, just go on the CIA vault.com.
Yeah.
And, like,
you can read all
you
the
can
crazy
read it.
good stuff. It's awesome.
So,
and then you can start your own podcast, and we'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about you here.
Yeah, we will. For a fee. But anyway.
Capitalist.
So, in the I think it was the late 2000s or early 2010s, there was, everyone knows what 4chan is. 4chan's a website, one of the greatest things on the planet. Anyway, there was someone who hacked into the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And was able to snatch a bunch. This is a real one that made the news, and the Pentagon, like, admitted to it. Was able to snatch a bunch of screenshots of the computers before they were locked out. And then one of the things that they took a screenshot of was the Space Force and their emblem and a bunch of, like, names of the people in it and their rank and whatnot. Skip ahead to the pandemic.
Yeah.
So Trump announces that he's creating the Space Force.
Yeah.
Now, people had just said that leak that person made was, like, made up. The Space Force that Trump announces uses the exact same emblem.
Yeah.
Has the exact same names.
Yeah.
As the people that were on the thing. And, yeah.
And is it based off the Netflix TV show at all?
There's a Netflix TV show?
I think it's called Space Force. It's Michael Scott, but what is his real name? Steve Carell.
Oh,
Isn't it called Space Force?
I don't know. I don't
Actually,
watch TV.
It's cool that, because if that's the case, if it is called Space Force, and I'm pretty sure it is, but it's like spoofy satire.
Oh, it's spoofy.
It's funny. And it's not like a real documentary starring Steve Carell, which would also be worth a watch.
That'd be amazing.
But they were talking about that too, as, like, there's certain things that happen in the media, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, it happens in real life.
Yeah.
And there's a name for it about, like, how it's programming people.
Mm-hmm.
But my opinion, based on no scientific study or fact, is that we're just lazy as fuck. And if we,
and the government knows this. They know that.
But I'm talking about all people, like, even people in position of power, right? Like, if your job is to create something that's ominous and disastrous, and you go home and you binge watch something on Netflix, where do you think all your ideas are coming from?
Oh, yeah.
What you're absorbing through the TV, or what you're absorbing through a book. And I mean, again, like, I don't think that it's necessarily us being predisposed to information before something happens. I think somebody else just got the idea of, like, oh, we could just do that instead of me trying to, come up with this complex scenario. I'll just derail the train.
I'll throw you this one. What if some of the people making these shows and not documentaries, but these shows and movies, because of their position in the world, they have access to certain people that have certain information. And they tell them this information, and they're like, man, that would make a great TV show. And they make a TV show about it. And then 5 years later, that information becomes public, and they're like, yo, that show's very fucking similar to it.
Yeah, well, that's similar to like the first point of where they kind of directing. Like it's being, again, like almost Inception.
Yeah.
Like these people who have the ability to create these awesome works. Yeah. And then us being desensitized to the overall outcome of those situations, because we're like, it's just like subconsciously, like we know how this ends, so we're no longer interested in it.
And I want to go back to your point where you're saying humans are lazy. Humans are absolutely fucking lazy.
But I reflected on that a lot. So one of the things I do still think in certain cases that, like, and it's not an individual, like in general, that we are lazy in certain subjects. I think a better word would be uninterested. Or like we have no, like, it's not so much laziness, it's just there's no we're not incentivized to pursue that information.
You're not wrong,
but I think that's an important part, because like if I asked you to read a book about a subject you didn't like, based solely on my recommendation, are you going to read that book?
Probably not.
No, because you don't care. But I think when I get hung up on that is that, like, when we do these things where the government's like, okay, jig is up. Like, there's definitely some stuff we can't explain. You guys have been right for a long time. But we're like, you know, what's going on social media with like this certain celebrity or like this movie star or like this cooking trend or this drink.
But that's another thing, though. If we're talking about, like, okay, for instance, in Canada, the CBC is bought and paid for by the Canadian government. And for instance, in the U.S., like a good comparison would be the CNN, which is entirely owned by the Clinton Foundation, right? Which is the government. So if the
that's a bold statement. That's fair enough.
Not exactly wrong. So like, where was I going? Oh yeah, okay. So the media, the major news networks, are owned by the government, right? Now the government, by law, sometimes has to release certain information, or they want to release certain information to be like, hey, look, it's there, but you have to go look for it yourself, type deal. So they'll release that information, then they'll just tell the news media, don't run a story on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's like, you know, the Space Force thing and the contact with aliens things, the files being released about that is just like, it's public knowledge. You can go to it and look it up yourself.
Absolutely. Well, and I think too, like going back to, because I know that can, like that, those statements about, you know, these sources of information that still so many people go to for their news, to be told that it's being financially backed with someone with maybe not so transparent tendencies or like a nefarious agenda. That's a hard pill to swallow. But I mean, a lot of those businesses and companies are publicly traded, or you can find like the financial information to some degree is public, and you can see who will benefit from, you know, like if they have an agenda, they're not going to do something that's going to impact, because everything comes down to money and power and property.
And Kardashian gets more clicks than aliens.
But that's super true. But like for me, and like maybe that's just because of who I am and like what I'm interested in. The fact that like aliens didn't explode on social media, but like Pete Davidson's relationship did. Like, who is awesome. I love Pete Davidson. I think he's a fabulous person. But like,
I like his rip on what's her name? His most recent one that he was dating.
Wasn't that Kim?
No, he dated Ariana Grande.
Yeah, but that was before. That was after Kim.
No, that was after Kim. Yeah.
But it was before Kim.
No.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was 100%.
No.
Let us know who it was.
It was after.
Kim was after. Kim was the latest.
No, Ariana Grande was after.
I don't believe you.
You look it up. Anyway, look up the rip on it. Look up the rip on it, because it's like.
But I remember watching his comedy special, and he said she did this fucking crazy thing. So she told everybody that he had like the best dick in the world.
Yeah.
Right. So, and he was like, yeah, that sounds good. And then his whole spot is about now everyone is just chronically disappointed because like they have this super high expectation that I have no way of filling. And I'm sure he's close because I mean that guy crushes like beautiful girls all the time.
That's because he's funny.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that he made the joke about Barstool Sports calling him Butthole Eyes, and I think that is hilarious, and I can't unsee it, and that will forever be burnt into my brain. But God love Pete Davidson, and I think he's awesome. And he talks a lot about like his mental health issues, and he's very open and honest about it. And I think that's super cool too because he's letting himself be vulnerable about something that's super intense, and kind of breaking down a lot of the stigma that goes with that stuff. So good on Pete Davidson.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm fairly indifferent to the man. I do like his rip on Ariana though.
Yeah. Well, you seem very excited.
It's such a good rip.
Go.
I don't remember it, but he talks about
you can't
how
build
like,
it up like that and then not say it.
I don't know it offhand. He just makes fun of the fact that she like spray tans a lot.
That's enough. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Okay. Next on the agenda.
Did we miss anything with aliens?
Dude, we could talk about aliens forever.
Yeah. What about? Oh, you know what we should talk about?
What?
Maybe next is Elon's new engine.
He has a new engine?
Yeah, the new. It's like a particle accelerator engine.
Like some CERN shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they shoot a bunch of particles through. I'm not a scientist. Like.
There's a midget in the car.
Yeah. There's just got like a hose with a bunch of plastic. It's like bubble tea. I don't know how it fucking works. I'm pretty sure it's called a particle accelerator. And
Particle accelerator.
Yeah,
okay.
and you get it allows us, or will allow us to travel 99.9% as fast as the speed of light.
Yeah, because you can't go as fast as the speed of light.
Allegedly,
which is bullshit. I know you can go faster than the speed of light.
100%. We just
no
don't know
way
how to.
You can't.
We just don't know how to do it yet.
Yeah.
But just like if you went back 300 years, it'd be like, I'm gonna fly a plane. That's never gonna happen.
No.
Yeah. What the fuck's a plane? Planes exist.
Bro, I'm in space.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be? Joke's on you guys. We're actually filming from the moon.
Yeah. You don't fucking know where we are. Fuck, this could be lunar hay.
It is lunar hay.
Yeah. Those are the grays that kidnapped us.
Yeah.
I ate them.
There's no fucking food on the moon.
Just so you guys know, they kind of taste like salsa.
Like salsa? That is an interesting flavor to go with. Out of everything you could have picked, you landed on salsa.
Yeah. Because it's really fucking weird. Why the hell do they taste like tomatoes and spice?
Yeah, but I think it's such a complicated food for one thing to taste like.
I'm just saying.
That's fair.
Okay, so you remember the Ohio disaster?
The what?
The train derailment in Ohio.
Oh, Ohio.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you over your
Chewing.
native accent.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey ho, great warrior. Maybe I'll just do I'll just do this whole bit as a native. As my native accent. Hey ho, great warrior. You hear about the train derailment?
This is gonna be too hard. Just go back. Just go back. No. I'm out.
Anyway.
That bit is way too fucking hard to carry on. Okay.
So.
Yeah, Ohio train derailment.
Yeah.
Lots of crazy shit happened in the Ohio train derailment.
Yes, it's an older topic, but there's still some fun stuff happening, right?
Well, I think before we get like too carried away down that rabbit hole, I think a lot of the stuff, like we might go back a decade, we might bounce around a lot on the channel, but I think there's a lot of stuff that, again, people just, it's not put in front of them, they miss it, it's not covered, it's not, like you said, like there's a lot of stuff that isn't put out there, and it makes it difficult for people to even see it, absorb it, understand it, know that it, we probably won't give you 100% of the facts, but we get you on the right track to know what you should be looking for.
We'll get you what the kind of facts we'll give you is like the everyman, everyday type facts type shit. That's what because I know some of this stuff and a lot of it's off the cuff. So sometimes our information is a little bit off, but like it's in the vein of correct and true.
It's in the ballpark.
Yeah. Anyway, the Ohio derailment, right?
Yeah.
So the government kept on going around saying the water was fine and you could drink it and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So
the same thing they usually do.
The same thing they usually do, right? So It was either 2 or 4. I'm leaning on the 4. There were 4 independent
Journalists.
Well, no, they were
Scientists.
There were people that test water. There's a name for that.
Boring fucking job.
Yeah, aqua science people.
Science.
Yeah. So they were going to go to Ohio,
Yeah.
where the derailment happened, and they were going to test the water independently and release the information.
Yes.
All 4 of them died in 4 different plane crashes coming out of the Clinton airport.
But that's fucking nuts.
Yeah. It's like, you're going to tell me that, like, no, like that's, you didn't kill them?
Yeah.
Like,
Even if it was 2.
Yeah.
Like this, what are the chances of 2 planes going down and them just completely dying?
yeah.
You keep talking about water scientists for a second while I try and find out the actual term for them.
Okay. So that happened, right? And it's out of the Clinton airport. Again, everyone knows, like, okay, I'm saying everyone knows, like, if everyone's in this shit all the time. But it takes, like, 2 links down when you type in Clinton in Google that there's, like, a Clinton hit list or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all these people that have died in some shape or form opposing the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, you're going to be upset when we shit the bed on what a water scientist is called.
What are they called?
It's a hydrologist.
Fuck. Calm the fuck down, bro. Holy shit. Yeah. I was like, I'll say aqua. It's kind of Italian.
I feel like sometimes we might lead people down the wrong path. Say aqua. It's kind of Italian.
That's kind of right. Aren't all
Carry on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So the Clinton hit list. Anyway, these guys are for sure got killed because they were going to really reveal that the water wasn't safe to drink. For God's sakes, like there's no fish, there's no wildlife.
Yeah.
And even in the video of the officials drinking the water, you can see them like not drinking it. Like they bring it up to their lips and they touch it and they don't open their mouths.
Yeah.
It's absolutely honestly it's hilarious.
Again, that's something that's been like that's not the first time we've had like a water catastrophe and something like that happen.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there's interesting facts and way more substantiated channels than us have talked about things like them changing the definition a couple of months. Was it
a couple months before they changed the definition of
what all of those chemicals would cause and do to you.
Yeah.
And they stripped the guts out.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, for me, like, that's a scary thing. Like, don't fuck with that shit.
Well, they can change the law at whim.
Yeah.
For whatever it is they want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic protests here in Canada, they changed the definition of was it protest? I think they changed the definition of what a protest.
They did a bunch of stuff because as more information came out too, they changed the definition of what violence constitutes.
That's what it was. They changed the definition of violence so that they could release.
Prosecute.
Yeah, well, not just prosecute, but they could release the cops on them.
Yeah.
Well, I say the cops. It's like the riot police.
Yeah.
And call me crazy as much as you want. You can just look at this up, but police forces will import police from other countries.
Yeah.
Or if it's a very large city, or not very large city, but a very large country from other parts of the country, to come and deal with riots and protests in your area so that the local police don't have to face off against someone they know. Anyway.
Which also makes a tremendous amount of sense. I know that might sound crazy to people, but
it makes sense.
Yeah, they use the word police, but what it really is mercenaries.
Yeah, they're mercenaries.
Yeah, they're hired guns.
They're hired guns. That's
all
the United Nations have a specific division of mercenaries that.
What is it? You mean the League of Nations?
League of Nations? No, that's they're both evil, but League of Nations is even more evil.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have like this division of mercenaries that they hire to come in and quell riots in whatever country. So the ones in Canada, I've had multiple people who were either at the protests or know stuff going on in the government say that they brought in Germans, like a German riot police, to come in and stop them. That's just a fun fact I wanted to bring out there. But anyway, they slap on like RCMP uniforms on them, or like
the badges
to make them look like local police.
Like it saves a pile of money.
Yeah, But yeah, so during the protest, they switched the definitions of whatever the protesters were doing so that they could bring in these police and just shut them up.
Yeah.
Right? Because Trudeau does not like it when someone like goes against him.
Yeah. His dad was kind of the same. His real dad.
Bruh. Castro?
Yeah, not Jean.
I like that guy. I like Daddy Trudeau. I don't agree with all his policies. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I agree with his policies.
Sorry, I was on a different planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy Trudeau. Why his name is escaping me? Oh my god.
But I don't agree with all his policies.
Pierre.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pierre was
Pierre
awesome.
Trudeau. I don't agree with all his policies, but I like the man for who he is, and he has balls, unlike his son.
Yeah.
His supposed son.
Yeah. Alleged.
Alleged. You look a lot alike though. Like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. There's still some in there. You're gonna have to.
I feel like we should edit some of that out.
Why?
Fair enough.
I'm not editing shit.
Keep it in.
Yeah. So, I was talking about the Clinton Foundation. Mm-hmm. So, there was also, I think we talked about this before, but I really want to talk about it again, okay?
Okay.
So, there was this reporter. Do you remember what he was like?
I can't remember what he was reporting on.
He was
I'm pretty sure I know the story you're talking about.
He was reporting on, I'm pretty sure he was reporting on the Clintons. And
Or Clinton adjacent.
Clinton, yeah. And he decided that suddenly his life wasn't worth living. So he went into the woods, tied himself to a tree, stabbed himself like 37 times in the chest, strangled himself, and then shot himself twice in the head, and then somehow got rid of the gun.
If I've ever needed a reason to lose my fear in the deep state, that is everything I would ever need to know.
Yeah.
Because you know whoever's in charge of the assassins of the deep state, like, poked his head out of the door, and there was one guy mopping floors, and he was like, game on, Jerry.
You wanted to go? Get out there.
Yeah, now's your chance. Now or never. And you know Jerry was going through a divorce, because if you stab someone 37 times, that shit's personal as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And kept the gun.
Yeah.
The boardroom meeting the next day for that would have been fucking hilarious. You had one job!
You just strangled him or something.
Just watch Bourne Identity before you go. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Yeah.
Oh my God.
So brutal. Yeah. And then shame on everybody. Like, that is just so... It's not even close to being good.
Yeah,
like,
but here's another thing: people just buy it, right? Because
the
news they'll say that the person died from this, and they're like, "The police ruled it a suicide."
Yeah,
and it's just like, how do you not open your fucking eyes? Have you tried to stab yourself 37 times?
While tied to a tree?
While tied to a tree, hands behind your back, and being strangled and shot. Dude, that's a lot of multitasking.
Was it Dr. Octopus that they tied to the fucking tree? Like, oh man, it's nuts. Yeah, but I mean, like, and it's super, it might seem bad to a lot of people that we're just laughing hysterically at this. It is tragic that
we're not laughing at the reporter dying. Poor reporter. That's horrible.
That shit is awful, and like, they really should be, stepping up to see what's going on there. But the fact that something like that exists
can happen.
The situation itself, where like they were tied to a tree, all of those horrible things happening to the person, no gun or knife found at the scene, and then still ruled as a suicide and then accepted, is so preposterously ridiculous that it's fucking hilarious. Like that is the. It blows my mind.
And we're just talking about this one because it's the most recent one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think arguably probably the greatest fail of an assassination attempt ever made.
You'd be surprised, my dude.
Man, if we can start like a thing where we just talk about assassination fails, I'm all in.
All right.
That would be hilarious because like you cannot bungle something more up than that, in my opinion, as an assassin. Like, how do you shit the bed that hard?
That's the thing is like they have this impunity, or is that the right word?
Well, there's absolute power.
Absolute power, and they can just go up to the corner and be like, he committed suicide, or else,
or there will be two suicides.
There'll be two suicides.
Yeah. Do you think they stand with their hands on their hips like that?
It'd be it'd be super threatening.
Could you imagine if he had like some kind of form of like autism and he just didn't pick up on social cues? He'd be like, no, he was definitely murdered. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you stupid? How do you not realize that he was murdered? Yeah. Get out of here, giant faceless man in a black suit. You're going to jail for being freaky. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
How do you segue out?
How do you segue out of that? Like,
yeah, deep state assassins. Anyway,
but
well, we can. Do you think Putin created Bitcoin? This is a bold statement I heard on the internet.
Putin created Bitcoin. No, we know who created Bitcoin. We have like the paper trail for it.
Do we really?
Yeah, we have the paper trail for who created Bitcoin.
I liked. What's his name? I think it's John Pence. He's like this super crusty old self-made millionaire.
Yeah.
And he's like stuck in his time.
Yeah.
And like I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of his shit.
I know who you're talking
funny.
about. Yeah, it's kind
of.
of.
He's like Putin created Bitcoin, and I think he's very convinced.
I'm sure you can be, dude. When you're that high up in the world, you are privy to information that would change your view on literally everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, even in that statement, and like not getting into like all these crazy theories and things that happen on the web that may or may not be true.
Yeah.
But you have people like Mr. Beast saying, like, when he started making a certain amount of money, he got invited to this island where there's like, it's shit you've never seen before, and he doesn't want to talk about it or go into detail. And like, he wasn't saying that it was an insidious thing, but there are gatherings of these people with such tremendous amounts of wealth and power that are allowed to go to these exclusive clubs that are.
Now you're getting into like my nitty gritty. You're talking about secret societies and shit. Oh my god, I know everything about that stuff.
Yeah,
that I'm deep in.
Go crazy.
This is so. Which one do you want to talk about?
Yeah, go nuts. Whatever, pick your poison.
Pick my poison? Okay.
Inform the audience.
All right. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about Bohemian Grove.
Okay, yeah.
I think you know what Bohemian Grove is, right?
Only from you.
Only from me. Okay.
Well, and then like watching a couple of things to see if you were smoking methamphetamines.
Was I?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was unnerving. And then I remembered that they can't kill anybody really good now, so then I felt better.
Yeah, you'll see it coming.
Yeah, I'll just be like, get the fuck out of here, Jerry.
Like, oh no, here you come with your fucking owl.
Yeah. It's an effigy!
I got birdshot.
Vigilante justice.
But so Bohemian Grove, it's worshippers of Moloch, which is a god that is at least the age of Samaria, potentially older. They represent him as a half owl, half human, but historians believe that they fucked that up pretty bad because historically in Samaria, Moloch was actually a part bull. But
do they have owls in Samaria?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Are they scary looking?
Everything's scary looking back then. You seen the statues of the people? Like, dude's walking around with a head of a jackal.
Fair enough.
But so there.
You ever think we were just way off with all of the stuff we've like interpreted, and be like, maybe they just did that because like that was how they penalized like dog fuckers?
No.
I like my theory better.
I know you like your theory.
It's like, dog fucker, make a statue. One will forget.
Make all of these statues. Yeah. Why are there so many people fucking dogs?
There's nothing to do with the desert. We got all these beautiful things.
No, fuck. So
yeah. Those used to be alive. I think we should tell them the actual story. We bored them to death.
Yes. That's why we ended up eating those little aliens.
Yeah. They couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Just like, please talk about something else.
Yes. Fix the education system.
Fuck.
Carry on.
So, anyway, they worship Moloch. Now, everything is true, okay? This...
About Moloch?
No, about the Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. Which sounds like such a nice place.
It still sounds like a nice place. It has like a massive fence around it and protected by Black Hawk helicopters.
That ruins my vision of what
Yeah.
it should be. But
It's so landscape wise, it's in the west coast of the United States, and it's fucking massive. We're talking like hundreds of kilometers.
yeah, don't go there.
Don't go
You'll
there.
be gunned down by
they'll
Black Hawk
kill you.
helicopter.
Yeah, they'll kill you. But it's in the middle of the woods, and basically, powerful people in the world gather there
Yeah.
once a year to worship Moloch, which again was the god I explained.
Yeah.
They do this by doing all sorts of strange rituals. Now, a lot of people know about Bohemian Grove. It's like one of the most known secret societies next to the Freemasons.
Yeah.
And
Well, what's the society called? Is the society itself just called Bohemian Grove?
yes, is it called exactly called Bohemian Grove? I could be wrong on that. There might be
I feel like that's
not Court of the Owls. That's fucking Batman.
there's a lot of shit in our brains and sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that
our
like
wires get
wires
crossed.
getting crossed,
Yeah.
but they might go by another name. But
Yeah, because I feel like a membership card that said Bohemian Grove on it would just.
oh, it does. I've seen
Really?
one. Yeah, they have a membership card that says Bohemian Grove on it. But
You know what's awesome?
What?
Not to keep derailing your thoughts,
Yeah.
is that they had a graphic designer
yeah, just do it. Yeah,
just do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't feel like any of the world leader power people.
yeah. They got Vistaprint to do it.
Fucking cheap bastards. No wonder it's a fucking secret society everyone knows about. Aim higher. Jesus Christ, give me a job. I don't even care what you're doing. Just please let me just take care of all of your graphic design needs. Do not use Vistaprint, Bohemian Grove people. Please. Please.
So, they're made up of some of the most powerful people in the United States.
Just the United States or the world? 'Cause
It's mainly United States.
Yeah.
There's more fancier secret societies for worldwide.
Yeah.
But so we're talking, like Nixon. We're talking Reagan.
Boo.
Almost every single president has attended Bohemian Grove ceremonies, and we have photos of them there.
Yeah.
And the Bohemian Grove Society seems to be very closely linked to the Skull and Crossbones Society, which is a branch of the Freemasons. Again, they just train political elites out of Yale, but they tend to be also Bohemian Grove related. So anyway, they had this massive fucking statue of Moloch. They dress up in robes, set fires to effigies, and have screams and shit in the woods.
Yeah.
You can actually see one of these rituals. As much as people make Alex Jones out to be a conspiracy theorist and whatever,
Well, and he's taken a lot of heat.
he's taken a lot of heat, which I have my own things about, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Almost everything Alex Jones has ever said has been correct, minus a few major things.
Yeah.
But the list of him being correct is way outweighed by the list of him being wrong.
Yeah.
And he actually this was before people knew about Bohemian Grove. In the 90s,
Yeah.
he snuck into Bohemian Grove and recorded it. And that's the only footage we have of the actual rituals being done. And it's an hour and some long. You can watch the whole thing. It's on YouTube. You can just look it up. Just type in Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones footage. YouTube likes to censor it, but go down a few notches.
Scroll through a couple pages.
Scroll
you'll
through
get there eventually.
you'll find the whole thing. It's a documentary. If you go on Spanish YouTube, it's like the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Anyway, they burn child effigies to this Moloch god. Now, does this go past that? A lot of people seem to think yes, and there's some weird amount of evidence to support that. Yes, it goes past just the Bohemian Grove ceremony.
Yeah.
We're talking now. I'm getting into the realm of spirit cooking and the blood rituals and that kind of stuff.
What
and
the fuck is spirit cooking?
spirit cooking. So it's more rituals and stuff done by people who believe in these different types of demons and gods or whatever you want to call them. And it's like, for instance, there's this one. This one's a famous person. She's connected to Hillary Clinton and Lady Gaga and all these people. They're all good friends. They have tons of photos together.
Yeah.
What she does is she gets a bucket of coagulated blood, fills it with breast milk and semen, and pours it on effigies of children.
Well, I mean,
You can find the video online.
At least there's a nice balance. Yeah.
And here's the thing, like everyone's into some weird shit, but the thing is that we're talking elites here, like people who lead the government.
Yeah. But I mean, to play the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And also to, avoid drone attacks by the button-hungry Hillary.
That's okay. I got reactive armor on.
Yeah. Bob Lazar.
Well, do you know what I got in these bales? 50 caliber, bitch.
No,
I'll take down a UFO.
We don't have anything in there.
No, it's just those guys.
It's just those guys.
He's really scared about the government coming and stopping us.
They're awful. When you peek behind the curtain, it's terrifying.
Yes.
And I mean, there's enough resources and people and stuff. Like, if you want to dig deep enough, like, you can find some. And I mean, again, it's not all. It is all horrible. I can't. You
can't justify some of the stuff they do.
No, it's brutal. And again,
even if it's just from an artistic standpoint,
or even getting away from like conspiracy.
Even if you get away from the conspiracy,
like some of the things that we have, like changing definition, like just playing with language to me is terrifying enough.
Yeah.
Like that was enough for me to be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then you start learning about all these other things and these weird coincidences and however they want to market or paint it. It gets it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
you can only do it in small doses. Mm-hmm. But again, besides the point, like to play the devil's advocate, like as human beings, we then tend to have pretty active imaginations too.
Yeah.
So I mean, even in the off chance that it wasn't this ominous task, we would definitely be villainizing it anyway. At least
they're burning an effigy of a child, or they're pouring blood and jizz on a fucking kid. Like even if it's.
But and I mean, like maybe that one's like in the extreme case. But I mean, even if you just dressed up with your buddies and had a good time and were like celebrating, and like getting loose.
Yeah, if
you're
you
not
dress up
allowed
as druids in the woods, and
I mean, like if you think about it too, like you live a super tamed life. Even though it may or may not have a lot of privilege in some cases.
Yeah.
Like, hear me out. Hear my point out.
Yeah.
So if you live this life where you're not allowed to cut loose, you always have to be sharp and on point in the public eye. You can't sway left or right. Mm-hmm. Of course, once in a while, you're going to want to drink some semen, blood, and titty milk. Like, because
Fair
you
enough.
have
Who
nothing.
doesn't?
You have nothing.
Yeah.
You have nothing outside of your realm of this, like, strict discipline act of being on point and sharp all the time. That's going to make you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It absolutely will fuck your brain up.
I'm going to hit you with something else, right? So all the people in these societies are people who have access to unbelievable amounts of knowledge, right? Like I'm not talking fucking ghosts or whatever. I'm saying like they have access to like all the CIA files, the presidential files, like everything that we are not allowed to know, right? Mm-hmm. And we know for a fact, like just this was released this year, that the CIA successfully killed goats with their mind.
Didn't they make a movie about
that?
They
did make a movie about it. They did. The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah.
That movie is based on a real thing. Like, that actually happened. And now, this year, they released the files admitting to it, that they managed to kill goats with their fucking mind.
Yeah. And it's only been supported by Stranger Things even more.
What?
You never watched Stranger Things?
Is that that's the girl there when
the
thing
she's
with
got
the
telepathic
face?
powers and she can fuck shit up?
Yeah.
So now we're used to it.
Yeah, now we're used to it. Yeah. So like it's not surprising to us. But, 50 years ago when they were doing this is like fucking like what the fuck?
Yeah.
But back to my point. So that's the information that was considered top secret that by law has to be declassified after like X amount of years. That's the stuff that we are allowed to know.
Yeah.
What the fuck do they know now, 50 years down the line, that is considered top secret?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a fucking reason they're worshiping demons and shit, right?
Yeah. What's his name? Moloch?
Moloch. Yeah.
They have such brutal names. I get they're
so fucking cool.
No, it would be better if it was just like a guy named Steve and he had a pot belly and he was smoking darts. That's a god.
Steve.
Yeah, we would just worship Steve. That's a guy I could get behind. Be like, he knows what's up. He's wearing work boots. He's got calloused hands. Hair cut similar to mine.
I'm guaranteed there's one. Bet you if you look hard enough,
I'm gonna.
The Society of Steve.
Yeah, I gotta create the own thing. Yeah, we'll be like a secret kind of knot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do? We worship Steve. What do you guys do? We lick his belly.
We lick his belly. Yeah. Where do you think that lady gets all the cum from? They need sources.
Going back to Mr. Beast.
Oh, yeah.
That
was a strange segue.
Because I want to talk about the island thing. He's 100% correct.
Yeah. But again, like,
sorry.
No, like, not to dismiss your point. I feel like I've done that a lot this time. But like, I know he's made some mistakes and some, had maybe not the best foresight with some of the stuff he's done. But I mean, he's not striking me as like an awful
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, evil person.
I was never really into Mr. Beast up until, I'm still not into his videos per se.
Yeah.
Until very recently, where like I've started looking at it, I'm just like, you're not okay, bud. Like something's eating at him, type shit, right? But outside of me feeling for him,
do you think that has to do with the island? Is that where you're
no,
going
I
with
don't.
that?
Well,
I think like maybe he just had like a traumatic experience in his life and he doesn't know how to heal from it.
I think it's more when you're at the level of Mr. Beast, because you gotta keep in mind Mr. Beast is contracted and signed and bought by Disney. Is it Disney that owns him? Something like that. It's one of those like major things, right? So, and what's his fucking millions of dollars of fucking video, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So like he's ranking in unbelievable amounts of money.
Yeah.
And if Mr. Beast is what we see at surface level, where he's just a nice guy that like dedicated his life to something. Yeah. And he's now in these circles where he's surrounded by
and owned by
and confirmed now because they're inviting him to these places, surrounded by absolutely horrible, despicable human beings. Yeah. And they're like, oh no, you got to keep going. If you stop, bad things will happen type shit.
You can't unplug.
Like his life is ruined, Yeah. We look at Mr. Beast and like admiration, like, oh, I want to live like that. But
yeah. Really, you want to make Shopify commercials?
Yeah, like, no. it's just the thing, like, he's like, your life is shit. Like, you're a prisoner of your own success.
Yeah.
And
like, I think even getting away from the depth and weight of like some of the topics we talk about, I think that's a problem with successful people in a really big way. And maybe more so if you go to other countries, but even here you get locked in and you have to like fulfill these contracts, and it's hard for people to step out of that. Yeah. That's something I was thinking about today too, is like this constant shuffle, like getting in the circle and then just being in that for decades on decades, always being, in front of the camera, in front of a group of people, doing speaking engagements. Like, pass your information and the torch off to somebody else and move, like, get out. Like, we don't need to stay in the system for as long as we do, making money, doing all of this stuff, jumping through all these hoops, being enslaved to a corporation. Yeah. Write up your contract for whatever you want to do and then
get away.
Peace out. Take care of your family. Like, there's a lot of, we give people the ultra rich a fucking pretty hard time, mostly because of envy. And then there's a little bit of morality that kind of tail ends that. Yeah. But like people like Mr. Beast who do a lot of really nice things for other people, like donating cash to charities, making and not like I bought you a coffee, like changing people's lives in a positive way. Yeah. So kudos to him and the other celebrities, people of power that go through with that. Like, I think that's awesome. And we should be covering and talking about those more and incentivizing other people in that realm that aren't on this like elite level, super scary secret societies, but like these people that have the means to be contributing and building up society, not necessarily asking them for more, but really putting in some time and effort to cover all of the differences they've made for other people. Yeah. Because we don't hear enough of that. Mm-hmm.
Sorry to go back on the Mr. Beast thing here, but
I have really tangent out.
That's okay. That's okay. It was a nice tangent. I liked it.
Yeah. I like to try and keep things a little bit happy.
Yeah. I'm just like information dump.
Yeah. Blood, semen, milk. Babies.
There are demons trying to eat your children.
Pull them out of school.
Actually, they probably have a higher survival rate.
Hey, we could do something on that.
We could.
We should probably put some questions to the audience. What is fucking driving you crazy? What do you want to know more about?
Yeah, because I know everything.
Yeah, well, and like the stuff we don't know, and like take a deep dive into specifics. Like, feel free to let us know what is eating you up, what is burning your ass, what's driving you nuts. You know, what isn't being talked about. Like, leave a like and a comment. Yeah.
I want to say just one thing of Mr. Beast because I feel it in my fucking dick. Okay. In the next,
This is a really elegant way for you to put that.
you have no idea how much I feel this coming.
Also, a poor choice of words.
There's gonna be I can't believe the words escaping me, but a scandal.
Yeah.
Of some kind with Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be Mr. Beast himself or his entourage or his head company or whatever. Yeah. But there's going to be some sort of scandal that's going to happen soon, within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That's going to completely fucking destroy him.
Yeah,
positive. I'm positive.
Like, his moral compass is too strong with the group of people he's with, and he doesn't want to play by the game, and then there's going to be the harpooned.
Something's going to happen.
That's your...
And I think they're laying the groundwork for it.
That's your prediction?
That's my prediction, yep.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
That's just because it's cold in here.
Yeah. It's freezing in here.
Are you that cold?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good. I'm upset we didn't bring enough snacks.
Yeah, I know. Oh, shit.
I thought about just trying to find things that didn't make enough noise. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I don't care. I'll make noise. Fuck them.
Yeah. We'll have to get a 3 Dead Babies bowl.
Yeah, just like on the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice plug. And then we can put all kinds of stuff and not worry about, people being mad at us.
Is there a specific subject you'd like to talk about? Because if not, I'll just go off on random shit.
No, go. Take a run at some stuff.
Okay. I mentioned earlier the Skull and Crossbones Society. I'm just going to information dump those
let's
guys.
go through the secret society vein. I have some other stuff, but
no. If you want to talk about your other stuff,
no.
I have like tons of this shit. It's like filler, bro. Like, my brain is just filled with it.
Yeah, we'll just
maybe
get it out. Sometimes I worry about you.
What do you mean? I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Just don't go outside between these hours and these hours. Make sure you absolutely wear blue.
Yeah. Next episode, we'll have tinfoil hats on.
Yeah. So, Skull and Crossbones Society is based out of Yale.
Yeah.
They basically train future presidents and political elites.
Yeah.
Practically every president since Bush or Obama is technically not, at least as far as we know, a member.
Yeah.
But his entourage had people that were, so he's probably a member. But that's besides the point. So Bush is a confirmed member, and basically everyone before him.
Okay.
Minus JFK.
What a surprise.
He was a Knight of Columbus.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is we need more Knights of Columbus in the seat.
Well, RFK is actually trying to run for president.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens to him. Maybe he'll have an unfortunate
Don't
car accident.
take any fucking flights.
Yeah, don't fly. Don't go in the car.
No
Stay
trains.
home.
Yeah, do it from Zoom. Run for president from Zoom.
They're gonna kill you. Yeah. So anyway, all these people
Or make friends with Bill, because then he'd be like, "Come on, don't do it, baby.
Come on. Well, I know this girl.
Okay. I know this girl. Yeah.
Back to the Skull and Crossbones.
Yeah.
So basically, all of them have been members of Skull and Crossbones.
Yeah.
Now, the Skull and Crossbones, they believe some weird shit too. Like, all secret societies believe some sort of weird shit, and it's all in the realm of the paranormal. So the thing the Skull and Crossbone Society does is they go around and they steal the skulls, or if they can, they steal the skulls, but just bones will do.
Yeah.
Of major European generals and major Native American chiefs.
I feel like that's a really small pool to draw from.
That's
like,
the pool they go for, because they, in their head, they're just like, we want to rule North America.
Yeah.
We want to invoke the great leaders that were in North America.
Okay.
So they go after the chiefs and the generals.
Yeah.
And they collect their bones. And like, they have Geronimo's skull. They went and dug him up and they took the skull. That's one of the ones that's admitted to.
Yeah.
But there's, rumors that they have more.
Yeah, but admitting to one, you're immediately labeled
Yeah.
for doing it forever.
Yeah, it's just like, you're a grave robber.
Yeah, gross. Stop drinking that.
Yeah, seriously. But that's their weird thing. They go around, they dig up the bones of great leaders in North America, and then they try to invoke their fucking spirit somehow. And George Bush, he did that. He did that. I think George Bush was actually or is it his dad? I think his dad was one of the dudes that went and dug up Geronimo's skull.
That's kind of, well, those groups are spooky.
Yeah.
But I think Native American, any of the spiritual cultures just in general, I think are super cool. And again, lots of people will dismiss it because it's not something that's socially accepted or normalized or talked about a lot. But a really good friend of mine was talking about the ceremony that he practices, and they always feed their dead, right? There's always a table of food made for the deceased. The deceased. And I can't remember. I believe he said that he witnessed it, or he was with reliable people that witnessed it, but they did their ritual, fed the dead, and they carried on with their evening. But at the end of the night, the food was gone. And it's not like they have dogs in there or anything and these are all very spiritual people that are very sound-minded and honest. So, I mean, thinking about those things is very, very cool. And, I like cultural perspectives based on, those spiritual aspects and some of the rituals and why they do things. Yeah. And, I mean, that's throughout all of the world and all of history, you know, and it always goes back to they use a lot of vibrations and sounds and colors and it's cool. There is a science to those cultures.
You mentioned vibrations and sounds. We're talking about this realm here. Quartz crystal. Yeah. So I don't know the science behind it, but I saw this from a reliable source that they were doing a lot of experiments with quartz crystal because quartz crystal apparently vibrates on a very interesting vibration or sound wave or whatever that can transcend dimensions somehow.
We're making quartz suits.
What?
Yeah. Well, then we would be interdimensional.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to put reactive armor all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's free, but that's awesome. That's insane
because quartz crystal is what the fucking astrology girls fucking wear all the time.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't the same thing, but I was watching a video yesterday and it was talking about time slips.
Yeah.
So I like thinking about things like quartz crystal vibrating at this interdimensional frequency.
Yeah.
And,
that's the word I was looking for. Frequency. Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that even mean? Give us more information.
Yeah.
And how do we know that?
Yeah. How the fuck do you know that?
That's the other thing. Unless you can confirm that there is the existence of another dimension and you can prove it, because how else would you be able to say this goes into you would need somebody on the other side with his Dixie cup being we heard it. Gotcha.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. They don't give. Well, I'm sure they give out the file, but you look at it and we can't fucking read that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
But I'm going to definitely be
I'm going to be all ears.
Mercury and quartz crystals all day, baby.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because that's another thing. All these spiritual societies throughout history have admiration towards stones that are quartz based.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and just I think Earth in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they didn't have the language, or again it's being with whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
They had a much deeper and better understanding in so many regards to how things in the planet and on the planet operate.
Yeah. Well, I 100% believe that there's because it doesn't add up, right? Historically. So there has to be a lost, not media, but a lost knowledge of some kind.
Oh, there's tons, or at least it's being withheld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Egyptologists.
Fucking Egyptologists. Yo.
Anyways, back to the Skull and Crossbones. Sorry for ruining it with my rainbows and
Sorry,
sunshine.
I was about to pop off of the fucking Egyptologists.
Next time.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, that's I was more or less done with them. They're
They just like skulls and bones.
they like skull and balls. They do all this. They like skulls and balls. They do all sorts of weird rituals and shit.
Could you imagine the banner and logo they would have? Like just a skull and a giant sack underneath of it.
It's like I would join this society.
Yeah. What do you guys do for like your morning ritual? Oh.
Wow, and you guys rule the world.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we got to make better choices.
Yeah. Fuck.
Well, what are some of the other societies that like? There's like Bilderberg Group. I know is another popular one.
The Bilderberg Group. That's like
they're just like
they're like a financial thing, but essentially they're a fucking secret society at this point.
Yeah.
They're like based out of Geneva, which honestly you should see everything that's in Geneva. Like there's over 40 of the most influential organizations
okay.
within like a 10-kilometer radius.
Okay.
It's fucking
That's nuts.
It's fucking weird that they're all there in Geneva.
Is there a theory as to why?
It's the center of the planet.
Outside? It's the outside center of the planet?
Yeah, like if you look at it on a map, it's like pretty much on the center. That's just me like pointing that out. I don't think that's necessarily why.
Is it on what are those lines called? The lifelines of the world?
Oh, I don't know that shit. That sounds very fucking like.
No, well then there's like science behind that too. Well, I'll figure it out and we'll talk about it again.
Sure.
But yeah, there's like lifelines and like the pyramids are built on them. Stonehenge is built on it. Like
okay. You're talking about that. Yeah.
Like all these big monuments and like these big historical sites are all land on these like crazy ass lines.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they did that there. Like,
We're just gonna get some quartz and mercury and just like.
Have you seen? You know, well, we know what CERN is, right? Have you seen their fucking rituals that they do at CERN?
No.
No.
Are you talking about like the lab?
Yeah.
I kind of didn't connect those two.
When you go home,
I saw the big copper pipe and I was like, that's worth a lot in scrap, and that was pretty much the end of it. That's as far as I got. I wonder what that does. Like, I could never work. I would be pushing every fucking button there every time. Like, stop touching that.
Oh fuck, we've risen Cthulhu.
Yeah, get him, Moloch!
Beast Wars.
Yeah, it's like Kong versus Godzilla, but in real life.
This is great.
I'm out of here.
Fuck, run away.
Just unplug it or something. I would have. I even if that was like the godsend of it's going to save humanity, I deserve to step zero. I can't be anywhere close to that building. There would be no way. I would be touching all of that. Like I've seen pictures of inside CERN, and it is the coolest fucking thing ever. And like my little sci-fi brain would just be like, yeah! Like,
what does it do?
Yeah, like, I know there's going to be warp speed here somewhere. And
one of these buttons will do something.
I'm bringing Han Solo back. This is like, or finding a dimension where he's still alive.
Yeah.
Like either way.
Like, where's the dimension where Star Wars is good?
Yeah. Hey. It was until the last one.
Yeah. You want to look at something weird when you get home? Just Google CERN rituals.
Really, eh?
It's fucking weird.
It's so insane that you have all of these like superpowers and all of these resources and these elite everything.
Yeah.
And like one of the most annoying parts of the human experience and human race is how just like relentless and what's the word I want to tenacious we are. But I mean there's so many benefits for us being relentless and tenacious. Like I mean we get into everything all the time, for good or bad. But I mean like when it's on the good side, it's just so crazy. Like secret society, I took pictures. Like it's I let the cat out of the bag. You know what I mean? But that's exactly what it is. Like this dumpy American dude, well I think he was in shape when he did it.
Yeah.
Like breaks into the like they have all this surveillance, all these walls, all this shit going up. He just like
strolls in.
Oh, they saw us, and then he just ran away.
Yeah.
What,
and then the next year, black helicopters showed up.
Yeah, they're like, how the fuck? But I mean, like, it's. I love thinking about like these people in these fancy get-ups worshiping these ancient gods and doing all this crazy shit with all this stuff going on, and then like some guy just paddles up like the night after or during or
yeah.
like whatever the case may be, and it was just like and then they're like, oh, they're onto us, and then send everything and and then it just stays out there and gets recycled by other people. But it's all on
people are fascinated by it, right? Because it's just like you said, the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, we know what the rich people do.
Yeah.
And like, I never want to drink blood and semen.
Yeah.
Like, gross. I'm out. Like, even if our channel explodes and we have 10 billion people, we're making millions of dollars, and they're like, hey, you want to come to the island? I'd be like, no, fucking thank you. Like, drink your juice somewhere else. Like, I'm bringing Fanta. Like, it's equally gross.
I'm not into that gay shit that you guys do.
I'm not drinking any of that, and I'm going to bring my own robe because your stuff is gross.
Yeah, seriously, it's red. I want black.
Yeah, exactly. It would be perfect. We just got to insert ourselves and then just like disrupt the whole society. Be like, don't you think you should be up there talking? Like, who said this guy should run? Yeah.
Have you seen the backdrop of the throne the Pope sits on?
The backdrop of the throne the Pope sits on?
Yeah.
No. I have some like fun Pope stuff, but
it's if you look at it, it's a depiction of the Antichrist.
The Antichrist
Rising from hell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But isn't there a bunch of like stuff that's gone over about like, I know Satanism and devil worship like is immediately sucked into this realm of like horrible shit because there's such a body of people that interpreted certain things, but there's like a lot of aspects of like of devil worship and Satanism that are really just about setting positive intentions, and it's just been
that's because you're
bastardized.
You're kind of conflating two different things, right? So you have devil worship, and then you have Satanism, right?
Yeah.
So, and when I say Satanism, I'm talking about modernized Satanism.
Yeah.
So modernized Satanism is more like you're thinking about yourself, and doing things that are good for you, regardless of God per se, right?
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, and some people, and in a general sense, it's not necessarily a bad thing because most people don't have bad intentions towards other people.
Yeah.
It becomes a bad thing when someone's like, I'm a sadomasochist and I don't care what other people think because I'm a Satanist, so I'm just going to kill people or hurt people, right?
Yeah.
But that's just taking it to an extreme, right? So Satanism in itself isn't necessarily that bad of a thing.
Yeah.
Devil worship is way older than the Catholic Church, is way older than any of our religions, right? People have worshipped or fought against devils or demons or whatever for all of recorded history, right? And I make a very, like, in my head, right? There's a line there, right?
Yeah.
So the church, I feel like when the Catholic Church specifically talks about devil worship, they're talking about demons per se, right? They're not necessarily talking about Satanism.
Yeah.
But there's people who practice it. So Satanism is fairly harmless for the most part. It's the devil worship part that's like kind of a problem.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of weird stuff with the Vatican and devil worship or the Antichrist or whatever you want to talk about. Like, and the Catholic Church is very tied into, especially the Vatican, is very tied into multiple secret societies.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that some of these secret societies are at odds against each other. Like, there's like historical records of them butting heads and fighting.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, the Freemasons, some people say, oh, they don't come from the Templars, but like they kind of do come from the Templars.
Yeah,
right?
the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar, right?
The only one with a cool name.
Yeah, the Knights Templar.
And then they just like shit the bed on their marketing forever.
Yeah, there's like, we're the Freemasons now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they come from the Knights Templar, and they were like soldiers for the Vatican or whatever, and then they became their own little secret society that works within the Vatican, but there's multiple secret societies inside the Vatican. For instance, the Knights of Columbus, which their origin is actually people that got together and wanted to kill all the Freemasons, specifically to take them out of France, and they chased them to the New World. This was before they were called the Knights of Columbus, but
do you know what their origin name is called?
They were knights. Well, their origin name, they were just like commissioned, not mercenaries, but
Militia?
like they were like not special forces. They didn't have that back then, but they were like especially good soldiers that worked under Napoleon.
Okay.
And Napoleon was like, fuck Freemasons.
Yeah.
And was like, kill them all.
Esti de colis
Yeah,
Freemason.
esti colis de tabarnak! So he was like, kill them all.
Yeah.
So that's where they came from. They chased them out of France, and then they ran across the ocean, and they're like, fuck it, let's go after them.
Yeah.
And they went across, and then they landed in the New World, and because they were in the New World, they no longer had a connection to France. They weren't taking orders. They created their own thing, and they continued down this path of being traditional Catholics who are against devil worshipping and Freemasons and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
So
That's why history is fun and everyone should learn about it. The
Yes.
stories are wild.
dude, real
it
life
makes
is so much more awesome than
Well, I
like
mean-
whatever movies you could come up with.
Well, and my theory still is like, and we've talked about this, like people who like to read.
Yeah.
Like all of our stories are
Yeah.
just retold
Differently, with just different
differently.
characters.
And I mean, this is something in like the design and brand, like
Yeah.
all of that information, like to find it in its purest form, you have to go back to the source. And I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's just like we add a bit here, we change this to fit our needs. Like, but if you go back to the purest form, and like same with history, if you go back to its purest form and you get rid of your fucking bigoted modern bullshit idiot brain,
Yeah.
because there is a certain climate and president that existed back then.
Yeah.
But and like listen and take in those stories, like it is fucking nuts. And more often than not, if you go back far enough, there's a lot more equality,
Yeah.
arguably, and a lot more social equity,
Yeah.
again, arguably, than we have today.
Yeah.
All these fucking groups fucked it up. And what a pattern! Look where we are now. We got a bunch of groups and they're fucking shit up.
Well, fuck. That's the thing though. Is
Yeah.
like that's kind of like what happens, right? Because the elite want to keep the power for themselves, so they'll create their own little groups, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about. What's
But power structures is so interesting because, like you said, like they create these groups, but again, like they start, and going back to people being so fucking tenacious and
Yeah.
so just uniquely human, power structures start to dissolve and fall apart, and then that's when you get these problems happening, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be people that get into this society and then they want to change this one thing or change this thing, or they think they're better to lead than this person.
Yeah.
And then like a little bit of conflict erupts and then things, and they're not quelled, and like these current ones are have a pretty long track record. But I mean, all of those groups always end up breaking down, and generally it's not because of an outside group, it's themselves. They'll cannibalize themselves.
more or less? Yes.
But they'll cannibalize themselves, or like what is that? Disrupt themselves so much that
Yeah.
if they have an opponent, that like the opponent still beats them.
Yeah.
But it's because they're not in union, they're not in
Yeah.
sync, they're not on the same page anymore. But I mean, like again, that's something that happens throughout history.
Yeah. It just repeats itself, right?
Yeah, and then and now we just have ridiculous fucking groups with even stupider fucking names, fighting over even dumber bullshit.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is like, for instance, like the not like you were talking about those groups when they evolve, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens to groups like that when they get massive, like full control power, they tend to implode.
Yeah.
And create all sorts of weird shit. For instance, the Nazis, right? The
Yeah.
Nazi Party in Germany during the 1920s to 40s. They were actually from a secret society called the Thule Society. Yeah. Now, if you Google the Thule Society, you'll come up with a book. And they'll say that book is fiction. Well, the book is fiction, and they say the Thule Society is fiction. The Thule Society is real, 100% real. Yeah. The book is just written off of them as a work of fiction. But the Nazis themselves, they originated from the Thule Society, which was a group of Germans who believed very heavily in magic and in relics and in supernatural stuff. Yeah. If you look at the Nazi, because the Nazis were actually in control of Germany from like 1920 and 1945, right? Yeah. And we only were at war with them for 6 years. So that whole, 19 years before? Yeah. It's heavy, like tons and tons of documents from the government of Germany at the time with all these expeditions where they're going
all over the world.
The world looking for relics and speaking to sages and all these type of things, because the country was 100% controlled by one of these secret societies, and they were using the entire GDP of a fucking country to fuel their insane beliefs.
Do you think their beliefs are well, I think their application of trying to learn and
I don't think I get your question.
Yeah.
I don't think their beliefs are necessarily insane.
Yeah.
It depends on which society.
I mean, like, we water it, we strip away the cow cum and baby's blood. Like, take those parts out. But I mean, the belief in stuff that we don't understand, the supernatural, the higher powers, the things like this level of mystery. Do you think that those are like having something like that take place in our reality is an actual thing, or do you think we're still just huffing gas?
So the supernatural or the paranormal is only supernatural and paranormal because we don't know how to explain it yet.
Yeah.
That's my...
So do you think we have things that are still in that realm?
Of the paranormal?
Yeah.
Just because we haven't explained it yet.
Yeah.
So there are things that happen that we would say is paranormal, but it's just because we haven't explained it yet.
Yeah.
And I know that things still happen that are fucking weird.
Yeah.
And you can't explain it.
And they're only weird because we can't explain
They're only weird because we can't explain it.
Yeah.
And there are people that are obsessed with these things, and some of these people are in charge of governments and the world and whatever. And in a way, it makes 100% sense why these people would be the ones obsessed with it, right?
Yeah.
Because they've conquered the known world, essentially.
Yeah.
By becoming these high in positions. So what's left for them to explore, right?
Well, and like the other kind of the same face of that coin would be it'd be an addiction to power.
Yeah.
And like you think about like if you use anything addictively, right?
Yeah.
You're going to tap out like at a certain level. You're going to be like, I need to up the ante. I need more.
Yeah.
Like I have to. I can't do 3 grams. I need 6. Like
yeah.
I want to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So I mean that would push that drive equally.
Mm-hmm.
Like
absolutely
to keep going.
That's right. And here's the thing is they have access, like I know I'm going back on a point here, but they have access to the information, right?
Yeah.
That like the CIA, the shit they were doing in the 60s.
Yeah.
They have access to that information.
Well, and everything that's like we use that as like a frame of mind or frame of reference, like the CIA in the 60s. But we're thinking like people have cataloged and categorized and picked up information for thousands of years.
Yeah,
we've had access to things for thousands of years. Like,
hey, the number one people in the world that are collecting mummies are the Rothschilds, the number ones for buying mummies? I think it is. Well, or the Rockefeller, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the big families.
Yeah, they're like the number one buyers of Egyptian.
Yeah, the assassins are here.
Oh no, not again.
What? Like for what?
Because they're obsessed with this shit, right?
But I mean, like having a dinner party, like I'd be like, man, Doug, like what are you doing?
But
I don't think there's a Doug Rockefeller.
But that's the thing. You think Doug would be like, well, let me fucking show you. And then it would take you to his room and in his like little office or his like underground fucking sanctum. Yeah. And is like, look at this fucking triangle looking rock I found. It levitates by itself. We don't know why.
Yeah, I could tell you why. It's the Tesseract.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing, right? Like, say he has something like that. And instantly, the dude who's talking to Doug is like, I'm a believer because you just fucking showed me unbelievable evidence of it.
Yeah,
right?
But I mean, like, we talked about the rooms of the pyramid and, like, how you can have objects levitate using certain, like, I think Quicksilver or Mercury was part of, yeah. Mercury and certain vibrations will create an electromagnetic field that will pick up objects.
Yeah.
And again, like, that's not us just, like, making up stories.
No, that's, like, we have it, like, tons of video evidence, and we know the science behind it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like,
yeah.
Fuck his stupid rock.
Yeah.
I don't give a more. Yeah. Why did you buy the fucking mummies? I don't care about the rock. I got the rock.
Well, there were some people that were drinking them.
Drinking mummy?
Yeah. So, like, it's a thing, like mummy tea. They would, like, ground up pieces of it and they drink it because they thought it'd get powers out of it or something.
No, that's fucking gross.
I'm just saying. That's, like, that's something people do.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
It's a thing.
And I mean, like, does it work for everything?
What do you mean? Does it work for everything?
Like, can you just, like, can we go and, like, there's old graveyards by my house.
No, it has to be Egyptian mummies.
That's racist.
there's like this weird sect of society. Well, fuck, even like the Moloch people we were talking about, Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with that time period of the world, like Egypt.
Yeah.
Egyptian or before Egypt. They're obsessed with that ancient period because they think that those people knew something that we don't. Which,
and they're gonna get it from.
They might.
Well, yeah, they definitely did, but I don't think you're gonna get it from drinking blood, semen, milk, and mummy tea.
Well, the reason they're doing that is because they think that these gods are real.
I think they should just sit outside in a field and meditate. Probably a lot closer.
The Thule Society went to find people that were able to do very strange things with meditation. And they did find some people that were able to do some really strange things with meditation.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's lots of cool science that
Yeah.
way. I wonder... Yeah, I don't know, man. That's nuts. That's fucking gross. People got to stop putting, like... I want to start a rumor to the elites that they get superpowers if they eat dog shit. That's an actual story from, like, my public school. I didn't do that, but and it was before I got there, but another kid I knew...
Yeah.
He told this other kid that he tastes like pumpkin pie and he'd get superpowers if he ate dog shit. And that poor fucker did.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know. I've never heard anything else from him. So maybe he's an ultra elite, superpowered fucking dude.
Shit, maybe he is.
It could have happened.
It could have happened.
But
If you
that's not
believe
a-
in something strong enough.
No. That's not how that works. Like,
Shit, apparently there's a whole book on it.
yeah, like that's... there's a line, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it starts at eating dog shit for superpowers.
That's where it starts.
That's where the line starts. Apparently, because it's okay to fucking drink blood and mummy tea.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross.
Well, that's
Do
just...
they take the bandages off? I have too many questions.
Yeah, they take
Or
the
is it
bandages
like
off.
steeping?
No, it's the body itself. So they take the bandages off of it.
No, so no steeping.
No.
I'm not a big tea drinker. Didn't even laugh at my tea joke.
I didn't catch it. I was too...
Steeping!
I'm-
The mummy bandages! It's like a bag!
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. What about the teeth?
I don't,
They just,
I
they,
don't know
like,
about
dusty?
the teeth. I
What
don't
if they're like Hypnotep and they're still moist? See, this is why I couldn't be part of a secret society. They'd be doing all this crazy shit. I'd be like, why are we drinking the cum blood? Like, what are we using an effigy for?
Just get a real kid.
We even know Moloch doesn't look like that. Why do we still have a stat? Like, and I would use the voice.
That's something I find interesting, right? Wouldn't they have information better than most people? So why would they get Moloch wrong? Unless they didn't get it wrong. And
And
it's
like,
our
they're
guys
just like,
that got it
maybe
wrong.
it's just like a, what is that tactic when they try and misdirection?
Yeah. And funny thing is, like now that you're bringing up the wrong animal thing, there's a weird, not most societies, but a lot of society, well not societies, but North American tribes or whatever had a weird thing with owls.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole incident in Alaska with owls.
What happened with the owls in Alaska?
It's like it was like a UFO. It was like an incredibly well documented.
Oh,
UFO.
yeah.
Yeah. With there's like we have like the dashboard footage, right, from the cop, where he pulls up to the house and there's like hundreds and hundreds of owls.
Really?
Like, circling a house in the night.
Yeah.
And he's like, the cop's like, it's like one of those like stereotypical like kind of fat cops, and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
That's the cop you want on your side.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna shoot first, ask questions, and be like, "Get the fuck out of here, birds!"
I'll go get my shotgun.
Yeah. Joke's on them. If that's their plan and it's all about owls, we killed a pile of you with rat poison.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
Yeah.
Flock off. Yeah. Really? That's the end game? I think the only reason, like,
I got a bat.
anybody likes owls is because we can make boob jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the real, that's the origin story between worshiping owls, and then a bunch of rich guys just took that way too far. That's what happened. Yeah. But serious note, don't use rat poison because it fucking kills owls.
Huh, we don't want to kill owls. We
No,
like owls.
they're awesome.
They are,
Just
they are.
maybe the creepy ones in Alaska can fuck off, but I mean, like, a bunch here are pretty cool.
That whole situation in Alaska is very fucking
Well,
creepy.
and those owls are fucking weird looking.
It's one of them.
Like
It's
the
one of
snow
the best.
owls where
yeah,
they're like their
it's the
head
snow
sloped
owls, yes.
and they have like giant eyes.
Yeah, it's one of the best documented like extraterrestrial incidences in the
Yeah,
United
I
States.
watched that documentary. It's cool. And like, isn't that the one where they start levitating off the ground and their jaws get really big?
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit's terrifying.
It's fucking terrifying. Yeah, but that's like real,
yeah.
or for more or less real.
Yeah, what was the other? Fire in the Sky. I remember watching that as a kid and it just traumatized the shit out of me.
Which one's that?
It's up north, I think. I'm assuming Alaska again, and they suck up a logger, and then he's missing. Missing.
Yes.
And like he comes back and he's fucked.
Yeah, and like his buddies saw him get abducted, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's one of the best documented like.
Yeah, and they made it like a movie, but there is a documentary.
There's a documentary about it. Yeah.
And it's all based on Fire in the Sky. Super awesome.
Yeah.
But
that one's super messed up. There's an entire. You want to talk about like weird abductions in the north?
No, but like let's go for it.
Okay, we'll go back to the owl thing.
Go home and sleep with my light on.
There's an entire village that just
disappeared
overnight.
Like what is it?
Of
Croatoan? Because that's like, again, villages being wiped out completely isn't like a historical one-off. Like,
no,
that's something
it's not.
that's happened
multiple times.
And I mean, anything more than once is terrible. Like that's so creepy.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So this happened relatively recently in the 20th century.
Yeah.
I think it was traders. It was at the time they were still doing like trading up there with the Inuit, but like an entire village of Inuit just disappeared. Like they showed up, like they had seen them like 2 days before. They went away.
Yeah.
They came back with goods, and like it's like if literally every single person just disappeared mid action.
Yeah.
There was like food on the table, like forks in it, like it's fucking
eerie as hell.
It's super fucking weird.
Yeah. And like again, like and it's always like these isolated communities.
Yeah.
But it's a huge amount of people. Well, I mean, like sometimes it's like 20, sometimes it's 30, sometimes.
Dude, 20 people just disappearing in thin air is fucking a major problem.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we have to cover is human combustion, because like a lot of people I talk to don't fucking
know about it.
And they can't comprehend.
Yeah, it's
like,
a thing.
There's
There's
that
like
being a thing.
Yeah.
I want to do like some reading about it.
I think they figured out how it happens. I remember.
And just like.
Yeah, I think they figured out how it happened, if I remember correctly.
Well, don't spoiler alert.
I'm not going to spoil it.
I want to figure it.
I want to talk about it. I don't know a lot about it because like I said, like many years ago, I saw, we figured it out. I lost instant interest.
Yeah, because you have the answer.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes back to some of the conversations we had earlier. Mm-hmm. Like if you have the outcome, you don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's going back to like telling stories in media and news, and then. Yeah. Something happens that reflects that in real life. I don't care. I already know what the ending is.
Yeah.
And like that subconsciously happens.
Yeah.
Like, you read the last page of the book, you tend to throw the fucking book away. You know, like I got everything.
I should do that, eh? Yeah. Did you read a book? Yeah, at the end.
Yeah, just watch the movie. At least that way you can eat chips.
Watch the movie on times 3.
Yeah.
We got better shit to do.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Your brain is so beautiful. Could you imagine? You should have dinner parties and stuff like that, and just have your TV set to like watching movies like at 3 times normal speed with the subtitles on, and just be like, "You guys didn't get that."
We watched like 8 movies in 2 hours.
Yeah, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
Top G. Top G's watch TV still, just at 3 times the speed.
Fuck.
That's awesome. Oh, okay. So what's next? Where did we stop? I was.
You were about to say something. About the abductions.
Oh yeah. So I have a question time.
Yeah.
Would you rather be consciously awake and fighting for your life in your abduction, or like never remember anything?
Consciously awake and fighting.
Yeah. Like I don't even have to win, but if I could just like bite one of those little gray fingers, like just something, so that when he was like knock, 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 like just knowing that like I got a shot in.
Yeah.
I know you guys have like crazy super technology and all these powers, but like at least I left a mark.
There's a story about someone who was abducted by aliens, and he's sort of like, it's not one of those stories that's like super like, oh yeah, there's an unbelievable amount of evidence for it.
Yeah.
But the dude has like a really good, like he's stood by the story.
Yeah, and it never changes. I love when that shit happens.
Yeah, like he said he got abducted, but for whatever reason they weren't able to put him out.
Yeah.
So because they're very, very weak, he was able to rampage through their fucking ship.
Yeah, like a whole bunch
of them. Like he was hulking through their ship.
That's the only thing. Like I have my bucket list, this big beautiful header, and the only thing is like rampage through grays.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
So he was just rampaging through their shit. They had like the little machines and stuff on him. And he's like, what the fuck? He just like breaking that shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
I feel like when he was giving this inventory, like this interview, he had like a cut off like flannel shirt with no buttons, just like all his hamburger meat hanging out, and like maybe a gold chain.
Yeah.
He spoke like an '80s wrestler.
oh, fudge.
All right, brother, it's not gonna happen to me. Boom! Speaks like the champ from the '90s.
Just grabs one by both legs and just starts beating.
Yeah, smashing him into other grays. That's the way I want to go out.
Yeah.
Even if I get fucking ray beamed, I would be like, no, this is fine. It was so worth it. Fuck you guys. Yeah.
It's just like, you want to call me?
There was another lady, like going back into abduction videos, and she said, like, again, like for whatever, I guess they're, nobody's perfect, including aliens. And they didn't put her out all the way.
Yeah.
And she was able to, and this was like a little lady, but still able to like overpower them and run.
Yeah.
But then she said like once they like
Cornered her?
no, they diffused the situation and just like put her back.
Yeah.
And was like,
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like,
just don't say nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
this bitch is crazy. Like, just go back. Just watch your fucking TV. Like, we don't want anything to do with you ever again.
well, see, here's the thing with aliens, right? Especially if you're going like the Greys or whatever you want to call them, like if they're constantly in 0G or basically grew up in 0G for multiple generations, they have zero muscle mass.
Yeah.
Like none whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there could be like 30 of them on you, and you could just be like,
Yeah. You not watch Superman, motherfucker?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, come at me with your blaster.
Yeah. No. I stand no chance against.
Nah, it's gonna be even then. Gives him a chance.
It's a ray gun.
So?
You never play Call. I don't think it's gonna work like that. I think it'll be like,
I don't think it'd be like
and
that.
you just see like little pieces of bone sticking out. I'd be like, fuck, and then dead, and a big cloud of smoke would come out.
You have so much
The ghost
adrenaline.
of John Players would protect the ghost of John Players is going to be like, not today. Tobacco companies will be shooting like savior ships up at me. Yeah. Get mad get him. If he goes down, we go under. Save his life.
Elon, I need your rocket
A
now.
bunch of big hillbillies smoking and they're like overalls. They're probably Cajun, fucking kicking grays over. Not today. Like, we got a patch for that big nicotine patch wrap around my body. I spend too much time by myself.
They just have like pure nicotine in the syringe, just get you in the neck.
Yeah, and then like Wolverine, you just see everything come back. Put me back on the ship.
I'm gonna get that one.
Rip off my shirt, revealing not a manly body. It's just like
That's even more terrifying for them.
running through the grays in slow motion, and my titties just bouncing back and forth. You see like gray heads smashing off me. It'd be awesome. I'd feel so tall. I'd be so pissed if I got there and they were taller than me. I'd be like, you fucking cock.
Yeah, it's the tall aliens.
Yeah. Or I get the bug ones with huge dicks. Get that the fuck out of my face. Where'd my John Player spaceship go? Save me! Why does it have teeth and eyes?
This is just my fucking luck.
Yes, but just pulling Mike Tyson.
Just bite his dick.
Bite his dick off. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, that's a... Leave it in.
Is it better to bite off all their dicks or just bite off the one dick?
Well, I feel like if they're like us,
Yeah.
like if you saw that, like what would your reaction? Mine would be like, he wins. Like, let him go. Give him your wallets.
Give
like,
him your wallet. Let him
like,
go.
yeah, like it wouldn't be like we all have to like now try.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, that guy's just gonna keep biting dicks until he's done. Like
he's fucking deranged.
yeah. Well, like he already invested. He was like, I'm gonna make. Like
he put a dick in his mouth.
he willingly and then just bit. Like we're
Bit
talking.
Terry's dick off.
He bit Terry's dick. The fact that there's a giant insectoid alien named Terry with a huge hammer is hilarious. He just bit Terry's. Ah! Oh my god! It's the worst podcast ever. Screaming, but like really high. Like he came in, I'm gonna butter your bread, and then like that guy was just like, ah! they got Terry.
Hide your dicks!
Yeah, hide your dicks. He's biting off the tips.
Oh, fuck.
That's awful. In all serious though, I hope like when aliens do make their like great arrival, they don't have goofy names. I hope they have names like Terry and like, you know, like just like normal, like really super boring dude names. Like it's Bob and that's John, and we call him like One-Eyed Jack because like. What happened to his eye? Like, well, we're short, and he bumped into a cabinet. But like, and they're all just like super boring and speak perfect English.
Yeah.
Like, we don't like that guy. He bit off his dick. We just
Terry's just there. And now his voice is like very high pitch all the time.
wearing "I Hate Humans" t-shirt. Be like, he's gonna be a problem. Yeah, we've seen this here on Earth.
Yeah, he sees a therapist once a week.
Yeah. Skylar.
Skyler,
Yeah.
no one likes him.
Yeah, no one likes him. Chad, and he's the only gray with like coiffed hair.
He wears a toupee. They can't grow hair anymore.
And he's got a white sweater on.
Yeah.
That's the kind of Chad we're talking about. Yeah. Oh, the inside of my brain is just a mess right now, and I'm still trying to go through gray battles. And like the idea that there's a secret forces for John players and they have my back just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
That's. I'm gonna have to add to the bottom like fight Grays, be saved by John players, go back and fight Grays.
Go back and fight Grace.
Yeah, like those Star Wars tubes where they put people in to heal.
Yeah.
Except mine's just full of fucking nicotine.
It's just cigarettes floating.
Monster energy drinks being pumped into my body.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
Monster Energy drink and then cigarettes.
Tobacco leaves.
There's just like a bunch of old ladies just like throwing them in.
If any elite's gonna watch this, and then they're gonna be laughing. Like he's upset about drinking the fucking cum cauldron, but he wants to be bathed in tobacco leaves and sucked on by old women and Monster Energy drinks. That guy's got problems.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit. We're so far off topic.
I don't know how we got here. I'm sorry.
Fuck. I don't even know what we were talking about.
I don't know.
Alien abductions.
Alien abductions.
Fuck. Good times.
But it's cool. Like it's cool to think though. Like if aliens exist, does that mean like all these ancient deities and gods and like all these things that have been worshipped and prayed to and created, if not from a story, are from other alien species, or did like
Humans
Earth
worship the aliens.
Or did Earth like have its own titans like Godzilla in like the Mothman group or whatever they call it, Monarch?
Yeah.
And we just had like cool ass giant fucking creatures that roamed around?
You mean like the Nephilim? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, like both. Like are like the gods like other alien species?
Yeah.
Or did we have our own cool shit? And then like aliens showed up.
And they're like, that's some cool shit.
And then they're like, whoa, like that owl has human legs. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And like, why does that human body have a dog head on it? And no one knows what the Sphinx is.
Fucking Egyptologists.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard like, because there's a lot of like hieroglyphs and stuff that depict things that they shouldn't have necessarily known, right? Like the entire solar system, including Nibiru.
Yeah.
You know, and accurately too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you can't know that unless you have like a telescope of some kind, and
Well,
a
and
very
then
good one
to
too.
measure space.
Yeah.
Like that's it's these are humongous numbers. This
Yeah.
isn't like, oh well, 50 feet away.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And then like you said, to accurately measure those distances, like it's wild.
Yeah.
And then again, like now that we're talking about like ancient Egypt and getting more into that, like I just please to the audience at home, look at how crazy Egyptologists are.
They're insane.
They're like the biggest fascists of the scientific community. Like they're the worst.
I don't know why the scientific community puts up with them.
I have no idea.
Because like, you're gonna tell me, oh, they know their shit. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
And they fight despite all of this, like insurmountable amount of evidence to say you guys are wrong, but maybe that's why.
Yeah.
They're just trying to save face.
And they're trying to
getting
save
their
face
checks.
and keeps their checks, yeah. Because, like, they will, like, die on the hill that the Sphinx is, like, what, 2,000 years old?
Yeah,
or some shit.
whatever.
And it's just
we've never existed past 5,000 years or
yeah.
something.
And it's just like, but my guy,
Oh yeah,
like we have the evidence, like, again, like an overwhelming amount of evidence that no, it's much older.
yeah,
And
much older.
A lot older, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
way
insane.
before the Egyptians, way before the Sumerians, you know?
Yeah, like shit's been around for a while.
Yeah. And it's like that with like every pyramid on Earth, not just
Yeah.
Egypt. And like, yeah, the tunnels under fucking Egypt. And they still like hammer on that, like, yeah, the fucking Pyramid of Giza is a tomb, but it's like,
No,
no,
it
it's
isn't.
not. We know it's not. Like,
Yeah, yeah. The Rothschilds cleared it out. They found no bodies. They're disappointed in you too.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. Well, and like, there's been a bunch of stuff that's come to light too about like them trying to cover up
That's true.
hieroglyphics and depictions of art and
Yeah.
like things that look like spaceships and helicopters. Again, like the solutions that these super powerful groups come
Yeah.
up with is like we'll reparge over it
Yeah.
and like we'll just draw something simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long squiggle. Like it must have been a sand snake. Yeah, they don't go there. Yeah.
Have you seen that photo of the chamber on top of the Sphinx head?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about sand snakes. I got really excited.
Oh, you can talk about sand snakes.
No, the chamber on the Sphinx head. I vaguely like have heard a bit about it. I heard a few of the details, like the flood lines and like them dating it, and
Yeah.
like some of the build. And
So there's this old photo, must have been taken in the very late 1800s or very, very early 1900s. But like it's explorers having opened up a chamber on the top of the head of the Sphinx.
Yeah.
And you can see them climbing in and out of it.
yeah,
And Egyptologists are just like, that photo, we're going to put it away. And
Yeah.
no one's ever going to look at it again because there's no chamber there. I swear.
yeah,
Or the most recent thing, they had found a new tunnel that nobody had explored
Yeah.
in the Pyramid of Giza. Nobody had explored it. They had no idea what was in there. No one had ever gone in it. There's like one video of it where like one of those like super renowned Egyptologists is there and is like, yeah, this is a tunnel. We don't know what's behind there. We haven't gone yet. Isn't it fantastic? It's super great. Anyway, then they're just like, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to brick it up and seal it off. That's what they did.
and like fuck you guys. What the fuck? Yeah, fuck Egyptologists.
Yes.
And Egyptology. That's the stupidest. It's made up garbage.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I only give a shit about these 3 pyramids.
It's ridiculous, and we're wrong on all of our theories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we're just being super critical, and they're doing it to like benefit humanity.
How, like, what the fuck?
Maybe there's a giant fucking half man, half owl in there. It's like I'm gonna eat your fucking babies, not
Well-
effigies, your babies.
Don't maybe go back to weird shit, because I will go back to it. Because, like, Epstein,
Yeah.
his little fucking pyramid temple thing is, like, all Egyptian,
Yeah.
including the stuff on the inside that we've been able to see so far.
Yeah.
Right? Because there was those people that snuck onto the island.
Yeah. Again, blows my mind.
Yeah, they stuck onto the island. Motherfuckers are gone now from existence.
Yeah.
But they, like, were able to, like, record some stuff, and then they were able to draw a, like, ish plan of what it looks like on the inside.
Yeah.
And then there's the photos of the security camera that someone, like, snuck a clip of and put it online before they got, like, fucking suicided.
Yeah. Everybody's getting zeroed.
Yeah. And it's just, like there's, like, a bunch of weird Egyptian shit in that fucking pyramid thing on Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird.
But I mean, like that could just be like propaganda. Like they're just drawn to it because they're fucking lunatics.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying, like,
I'm gonna just apologize in advance if the Egyptologists are actually doing something to save humanity. If you're not, though, I stand by my original.
what about that video of that kid that runs up to one of the pyramids? There's like a crack in the thing.
Yeah.
Runs up to one of the pyramids with an RC car that has a live feed camera on it.
Yeah.
Puts it in the crack and, like, is, like, going as deep as he can inside the pyramid in this crack. And it's a real video. Like, he's actually running up to it in the thing. It was on the news in Egypt, and runs up to it, and he brings the RC car as deep as he can into the pyramid, and eventually you start losing signal, right? Because it's all fucking rock.
Yeah.
But like the thing is like sort of moving forward, but like the signal's all blurry and shit.
Yeah.
And then like something fucking runs across the fucking
like they're not tombs, they're fucking prisons, and that's why the Egyptologists are blocking. I take it all back. The Egyptologists are good. They're saving our lives. That's why they're blocking up shit.
Yeah. It's like, I'll have to find that video. I want to send it to you.
No.
What do you mean no?
I don't want to watch that.
Why?
That's terrifying.
You gotta look at it.
I don't want to look at it.
You gotta know, bro. What the fuck was that thing? It's like something that just like runs up because he gets to like this bigger open room.
Yeah.
And then like, it's like so, the floor is there, and he's like up here at the hole there.
Yeah.
And like he comes up to the thing, and he has like very very shitty signal at this point.
Yeah.
And then like you see something like from the bottom half just like across.
Is it big?
Everything looks really big because it's an RC car that has a camera on it, and it's a low angle. So everything looks really big. But like if you had to guess it, it would be like maybe humanish size, maybe a little smaller. But it's not like a rat or like a mouse.
But that's where I was leading.
Yeah, it's
to.
not like
it's not just like
it
an
has
animal.
to be. It has to be big enough because he jumps off that like level.
Yeah.
And like falls a decent distance, right?
Yeah.
Like much taller than what a rat or whatever would be, and like yeah. Then eventually you don't. The video just cuts out.
Yeah. No shit.
But like because he was too deep in there. But like that kid, like that video was live streamed on Facebook, I think it was.
Yeah.
But like that kid, like
Zeroed. Jesus Christ! They're coming for your kids.
The fucking Egyptian government came by, took that fucking kid, and that kid like gone.
That's nuts. Whoa.
It's cool. I have to find that video and send it to you. It's fucking insane.
I don't want that fucking video. I'm not gonna watch anything that he sends me ever.
You have to, dude.
I don't want to see that.
Why?
I'm not interested. I'm not watching it. You're gonna give me nightmares. The Greys is okay because they're small and powerless, and I can beat up a shitload of them. Fighting some cannibalistic humanoid underground Egyptian? Terrifying. Yeah.
Get a bat.
Yeah, he doesn't eat a lot. Just push him down.
Fucking sandy piece of shit.
Yeah, your hats are stupid.
I'll sell you the fucking Greta. She'll turn you into tea.
Yeah. Oh, that's gross. Oh my god. Oh boy. So many things going on. We live in magical times. What about magic? What's your theories on magic?
Depends what kind of magic you're talking about. And depends also depends like the whole part of like do you believe like truly about it? Because if you truly believe it, then it's like magic's gonna do something for you.
One of the coolest things I heard about magic was that it's just unidentified science.
Yeah,
just unexplained science.
Again, it's only paranormal because we don't understand it. Right?
Yeah,
it's that.
And I think that's cool.
And I think magic is real? I don't know. That one I really don't know. With everything that's come out in the past like 5 years, I would be stupid to say that magic is 100% not real.
Yeah.
At this point. So like at most or at the least I have to say I'm open to the idea
Of
right?
magic.
Yeah.
I'm just open to the idea of the paranormal.
Yeah. But like I have no choice but to lean towards it being real.
Yeah.
Right? Because of like, you know, the CIA confirmed auras, they confirmed astral projection of some kind. They killed a goat with their brain, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
like if that's not magic.
Yeah. Well, when we teleported people into ships.
That story. That's like such
The Manhattan Project.
that project there where they teleported someone, then they were fused with the fucking metal and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also crazy.
That's one's super well documented. I don't know why no one talks about it.
Well, and, like they did things like they're blown up frogs. Like there's all kinds of like crazy stuff, and a lot of it all goes back to like vibration and frequency.
Yeah.
And like I think, like that's the world that we're not tapping into. And there, like here's another story. I think he was a rapper. He was a musician, and he started recording his art in like a certain frequency, because it like made people calm and relaxed, and like euphoric, and then but again zeroed. Like,
So, did you know that a law was passed for the whole world that all music must be recorded at a certain amount of gigahertz?
no,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
All music has to be recorded
All
under...
music.
All music.
It's a global law.
It's a global law. A standardization. All music must be recorded under whatever the fuck it is gigahertz.
And no more above or below.
No more above or below.
That's weird.
That is really fucking weird. And their excuse for it is, oh, well, it helps with, like, recording or video editing or whatever. But that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Because I can just switch to gigahertz and everything will fucking record under that gigahertz, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a thing that, 980s, I think?
In the 80s.
In the 80s. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
What happens if you go against that? Like, what are the consequences for breaking that?
Not published and you can be fined.
Oh. How would they even...
They,
How did you stop... Like, how would you stop that?
well, obviously independent publishers can like, put their music out at whatever gigahertz they want. But, like, if you want your music to be sold in stores or hosted on, like, Spotify or whatever...
It has to comply with...
It has to comply with that shit.
Frequency music law?
Yeah. And if it doesn't, like, for instance, Spotify, their system will automatically transfer it to that type of gigahertz.
Oh.
So, like, you can't...
I wonder if YouTube does the same thing.
I think they do, yes.
Everybody
does it, yeah.
they're owned by
Yeah.
massive telecom communications
Yeah, so they
companies.
all just do it.
Yeah.
I've heard people say it's because, like, oh, if this gigahertz specifically, like, makes people depressed or docile or something.
Yeah, well,
So-
that's... And, like... But there's the opposite... Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, there's things outside of that range that will elicit other emotions.
Yeah. Because, like, you know Game Boy, right? Like, Nintendo, Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's I forget what, I think Red and Blue or some shit. I don't fucking know.
The OGs. Okay.
One of the OG's Pokemon in Japan was released, and one of the songs that they did it in was it was like a ghost town or something. But anyway, they did the song in different types of gigahertz, and it gave people unbelievable headaches. And even a little, I think like one girl or two girls committed suicide.
Really?
Because of it. And the game, those versions of the games were recalled, and they changed the song. They changed the gigahertz of the song.
Yeah.
And then it was re-released.
That's wild.
But that's like very, very well documented case.
Yeah, well, in Tesla, like, his thing was, like, if you want to understand the universe, you have to think in frequency and vibration. Another great mind that was zeroed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Frequencies and zeros.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything produces a frequency, right? Like
Everything.
even us,
like-
we are not a solid object. We are atoms shaking in a certain
Frequency. Yeah.
Have you heard about the people, like the stories of, like, in certain conditions you can phase through objects? That was something one of the CIA documents was, like, really...
Yeah, my buddy and I have talked about that, like, in length.
Yeah.
That you can put you can move through objects.
Yeah.
By tuning into certain frequencies.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. Like, it's cool to think about.
Yeah, it's cool to think about, but it's completely fucking insane.
Yeah, it took him a long time for him to, like, convince me, but he's very in tune with, like,
That shit.
frequency and vibrations and understanding, like, how those materials work.
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, do it, but it's not like you can't just be like, "Neep."
Yeah. Have you talking about weird thing? Like, have you seen that video of the girl who's cutting a lemon, and it's even she's like weirded out. It's a security-ish footage.
Yeah.
You see her take a knife, cut the lemon in half, very fucking clearly.
Yeah.
Pull the knife away, and then she goes to grab a bag to, like, put the squared lemons away.
Yeah.
And then she grabs that one piece, and the lemon is still
Together. Yeah.
Like, the knife went straight through it.
Yeah.
And the lemon is still together. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But I mean, like, it would explain a lot of those things. Like, you get a lot of posts now, like glitches in the matrix.
Glitches in the
and
Matrix,
stuff.
yeah.
But like a lot of that stuff would be even when, like, things appear and disappear.
Yeah.
And I mean, the downfall to like our time is that we can create and make so many, like we can manipulate videos so well.
Oh, perfectly.
And, yeah, perfectly. And I mean, even professionals go through and they look for things that generally point out that, you know, this is
fake.
It's fake, but and
you can miss it now.
Yeah, now it can sneak by. But that, you know, maybe it's by design, maybe it's not. But like the cool shit that actually happens now, like we're just like, it's CGI. You know,
Yeah,
it's
everyone
special
automatically
effects.
just like,
It's
special effects. Let's ignore it. Type shit. But it's just like that's not a special effects video. That's like a real fucking video.
Yeah.
You know?
And who's going to take the time for them to make that? Like,
yeah, because like she doesn't gain anything from it.
No. But yeah, it's nuts, and I think it's and like, is it like all of those monasteries and like the monks?
Yeah.
Like it's not quite to the level of intensity of like going through objects, but like their bodies are capable of doing fucking
Unbelievable
insane
things
stuff.
that they shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, and it's all just like it's not just the power of their mind, like the stuff they go through to train their bodies to be like that is really intense, and it takes them forever, right? And you can think like none of us will be at that level. Like we could stop right now and like we would still like they start training when they're kids. Yeah. You know. And just mastering their mind, mastering their body, mastering their vibration.
The Thule Society I was talking about, they went to go see some monks in some fucking mountains, and they found monks that could levitate.
Yeah, well, and like that I'm assuming is probably the same place. How they built that monastery was like hymns, and they sung the stones to the place. Yeah. Which
is insane. Like,
well, yeah, it's crazy,
and it's just a random claim, right?
Yeah.
But like at this point, everything is so fucking crazy that I have no reason not to believe it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like there's things that we don't understand and can be made possible. Like, Tesla had a bunch of inventions. Lots of people still believe that they're being used or they do exist. Yeah. Like, I like his story because he was born in like this crazy ass thunderstorm. Did you hear that story? No. So like his mom was giving birth. And like it was this bad storm, and then like he was being delivered, like there's this huge crash of lightning, and the nurse was like, "Oh, miss, like I'm so sorry, like that's a really bad omen." And she's like, "No, it's not. He's going to be a child of light because it was the only, you know, this big spark was coming out." And I always thought that story was super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was brilliant. But I mean, like, frequency and vibration is where everything's at, and like you said, like every object in our world, in our reality, like. Everything has a frequency, and then depending on the color changes the frequency of that object. Like if I took that and painted it brown, it would vibrate at a different level. Yep, absolutely. But and like they're getting more and more into that in like their quantum science and stuff, like, and that stuff is super cool.
Quantum science,
quantum physics,
like
all of that stuff. Like it's so insanely mystifying. And then like how something can happen to an atom here, and it has an atom that like whatever happens to this relates to that atom, like, but it can be so far away.
Did you know that particles know when we're looking at them?
Yeah.
That's strange.
And it changes how they react. It's crazy. And I know like there's some hardcore scientists like that goes to kind of like the cat in the box.
Schrodinger's cat.
So like I don't know if we really have to dive into that experiment here.
No, everyone no.
Yeah, lots of people know.
But
it kind of split the scientific community too, because a lot of like spirituality really ate that up. But yeah, like things do absolutely react the more you look at them. And like I mean that's cool. Like you can affect change in your reality with how you're thinking and vibrating in your proximity. And like the more you do that in the world,
and that's the thing, right? That the quantum science behind it is confirming that you can use your mind to alter reality.
Which is insane.
It's an insane thing, right?
Like using your mind to alter reality. And I think that concept just seems so foreign and crazy to us because we're so plugged in and so distracted. Like.
Well, you can go, when it comes to that one, you could go into the whole thing of like, oh, elites know about this, which is why they're trying to like suppress your like what the fuck that gland is in your head with like the fluoride.
Pituitary gland, yeah, it calcifies your pituitary gland.
Yeah, they're laid, that kind of shit. Like you can go down that path, which
just drink flow water. They don't have any. It's good.
I drink well water. I'm good. I'm pretty fucking smart. I just chew the chunks.
That's disgusting, and I never want to drink water at your house. I'm gonna bring my own bottle of
smart water.
Smart water.
How much water? How much salt is
Fluoride?
in that?
Oh, it's like a third. Yeah, I gotta.
That's why I don't drink Dasani, man. Dasani, if you look at it, there's like a bunch of salt in it. It's not made to.
You want to shit on a water company? Nestle. Nestle has got to be the worst fucking batch of bastards ever.
Isn't that like the Coke one? Nestle owned by Coke?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or Coke owns whatever. It's one.
One way or the other way around, yeah.
Yeah, but they just suck the shit out of the planet and then give it to you.
Yeah, but I kind of like Nestle over Dasani.
Just because it's not as salty?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, come on, kill the planet. I don't care.
Nestle probably owns Dasani.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think Dasani's owned by Pepsi.
Oh. The feud continues.
Yeah.
I wonder what secret society those guys are on.
Probably those CEOs are in some secret society of some kind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, what a circle around.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about Mr. Beast. So, I have times that I'm not going to name them at all,
Yeah.
but some of my friends are in the YouTube business and some fairly big names in YouTube at that.
Yeah.
And I've been with them to, they had been invited to some places.
Swanky things.
Some swanky things. And I've been with them to those swanky things. No, I'm not saying my friends participate in that kind of stuff or whatever. As far as I'm aware, they don't.
Yeah.
But, like, the stories are 100% true.
There's some pretty crazy YouTube parties.
Yeah, the stories are 100% true.
Do you think it's, like, based on, like, just the platform itself or, like, a certain amount of wealth? Like, there's a tier system.
It has to do with wealth and influence.
Yeah.
That's what it has to do. So, for instance...
So, like, if you're a super rich guy that just owns, like, a local construction company, you don't get to, like, go to the...
The Freemasons will come to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, the Freemasons, the way they continue influencing power is they look around at community leaders people with positions of power in communities, whether that's through business or political agenda or whatever. And then they approach them and are just like, hey, join us. And they convince them to join.
I feel like they're, like, slacking because, like, they have halls and stuff that are accessible to everyone for events and stuff. And, like, they're not well run.
The Freemasons?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Masonic Lodge and stuff. Like, aren't those part of the
Yeah, they are.
Freemasons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, you're talking about the one in... what about the one in Prescott?
I don't know. I don't go there.
You know, the one in Prescott, if ever you drive, it's on the way into Prescott. Coming in to your right, there's going to be, like, a sign of the Masonic Lodge. That's, like, one of the real ones, none of the ones that you can rent out and stuff.
Oh, okay. So
not a single window in the building. And there's, like, weird signs and street signs that have, like, upside-down pentagrams and all kinds of shit.
No shit. Prescott.
Yeah, in Prescott.
That's fucking crazy.
On the way into Prescott, yeah.
No way.
If you have like 10 minutes, just drive down and go check it out.
Fuck, man, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because Prescott sucks.
Yeah, I know. But that's how the war is fought, right? Is you want to control sections of, if it's a big city, you want to control certain sections of the city, and when it comes to small towns, you want to control the small towns, right?
Yeah.
Here in Canada, you have three major parties when it comes to the secret societies that they're fighting. You got the Freemasons, you got the Knights of Columbus, and you have the Lions Den, right?
Yeah.
All three of those will fight for small towns.
Territory.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like a myriad of little clubs.
Oh, there's the Mooses and those guys there, smaller little groups.
Yeah.
But
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, recruitment's way down. They should be doing more to work on the community. You guys fucking suck. Yeah, do better, assholes. Secret Society, my dick. Like, fucking bunch of cheese balls.
Bunch of cheese balls.
Like, they could be like, hey, if I like my career takes off, and they're like, you want to? I'd be like, get fucked. Like, You don't even have windows.
This would be like, well, they have windows because they don't want people to see what they're doing. But in this business here, like if you became a successful YouTuber,
I feel like that doesn't work for what we talk about.
well, if you became a successful YouTuber, it wouldn't be Freemasons that would come get you. It'd be like entertainment industry types.
Yeah.
So like we're talking.
I know, and I'm a huge sellout. I talk a lot of shit, but they'd be like, "We'll give you $2 million." I'd be like, "Fuck it,
I'm in.
yeah, I'm in." For how long? 20 years. Don't care.
Don't care.
Give me my fucking money. Yeah. Yeah. Am I going to the cool parties? I'm not drinking the cum.
I'm not drinking the cup.
Yeah, but like, I'm in. Give me my money. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
What do I need to do? Yeah. Never mention us again. Which one are you? We have a very broad scope. We're just like, yeah.
That Patrick dude just goes off. Like, I can't stop him. I want to, but I can't.
I try to reel it in. Have you never watched my videos? Never mind. Fuck you. I'm not taking your deal. I'm a sellout, but I have a bit of pride.
I was talking to him about apples once, and now he's talking about Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's not a horrible segue.
It is.
Apples to Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Society, all our problems can be summed up because a woman just couldn't fucking listen.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
am I wrong?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yes. This has been 3 Dead Babies. We hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We know we did, and that's all that matters.
Don't forget to leave comments, like the video, and please subscribe. It helps us an amazing amount.
Yeah.
Again, I'm Vampire Jesus. This
I'm
is
your
co-host.
fabulous co-host, and we would love to keep, talking shit about everybody's problems. So in that comment section, light it up with whatever's fucking burning your ass, pissing you off, making you crazy, and we'd love to dig into it and have a conversation about it. Until next time, we'll see you later.